.1 every day we murk. By my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. By my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex is moving. Looking at why they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out and get me. He's gas up and got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I mean eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. By my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. By my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
We are live. Jim Rat, I think, stepped away from the thing for a second there. What's
yo. What's up, guys? Look at my hair. Got a little
alfalfa. Shout out to Jim Rat's fucking hair. He's still got that going on, bro. Good morning, everybody.
What's up, guys? GRC and Sam still here.
Oh, yeah.
Live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we're breaking down the latest, the greatest. We're bringing the best minds in crypto on. We're asking them the best questions. We are becoming experts, period. We're becoming experts. We will be resources. I will have more information than 99.9% of people, and I'll be able to effectively.
Is that mine?
Sorry, my mic was still on. And I'll be able to effectively teach others and have businesses and do amazing things and be fucking helpful and spectacular moving forward. So, guys, get your asses in here and smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button. I just had breakfast. I feel great. Everyone, good morning, Wendy's. Wendy's, can I tell you the topic for today? Because you might want to chime in on that because you're absolute old G. Sam, talk for 1 second because the guy from Opsec is calling me.
Pull that up, and he's going to take care of that shit from the car issue that he's having over there. But Justin, good morning. First comment in the house. Thank you for the comment. Bullish, awesome conversation last night. If you guys are not aware, follow Bullish on Twitter. It's the same name as Bullish or Bullshock, Bullyshock, however it's spelled. Ninja in the house. Good morning, Ninja. Hex Champion 369. How are you? We've got some good stuff to cover today. We learned a lot yesterday, and we're going to talk about security today. Let's see who else is in the comments here. I'm just finishing up, my breakfast. Justin Sandip Chowdhury. Big like from India. What's good from the USA? How you doing over in India? What time is it over there? Crypto KEEF. What's up, bros? How are you, brother? I'm doing amazing. Got my workout in this morning. Good morning, WENDYS4TENDIES. How are you? Proof of crypto pump. Hey, my girlfriend's gonna be getting into crypto at some time soon, probably. Crypto roof pump. So what's good? How are you? Love that emoji. Good morning. Coffee stream lately. Thanks, Rat, for making coffee interesting again this week. We should come out with our own tea, right? We should do our black tea and just be drinking tea on the show every day. That's a good idea. Bradley Lincoln onboarded 4 new Hexicans last week. Whoa! Bradley brought on 4 new people. That is fantastic. It's been about 5 weeks since I learned about crypto or Hex. And I think it took about maybe 3 weeks for me to like get some. I got into liquid loans first, and I got into.
But Jim Rat was pushing you, man.
Yes,
Come
tremendous,
on, Jim
tremendous
Rat
resource.
pushing you.
A tremendous.
Because I know what Sam's capable of, so like, it's kind of like I was telling him what he didn't know yet, but I was like, this is where you're gonna want to be. Like, I wasn't telling him what to do, but I was like, trust me, the way your brain works, like, this is where you want to be. This is where the most value is and the most opportunity is to have elevated skill on other people, right? I don't need to go to college for 4 years to be smarter than everyone in this chat. I have to go harder. You understand?
Yeah.
Like KEEF is just as smart as me, maybe a little smarter, maybe a little less, better at this, worse than that. But at the end of the day, whichever one of us is more locked in, he knows that. Who's going to make more because crypto moves away from you like this. Gone. Sam, if you leave for a week, bye-bye, we can't be partners anymore, literally, because it's that much of a gap. We'll be talking about stuff next week that you've never heard of.
Correct.
And then you'll
It's
be
insane.
like, oh, and then the nuanced conversation again will just be caught behind. Me and Sam kind of worked on the back end for like a couple weeks off stream, just literally chit chat, and got him to the point where I was like, okay, let's go online now, because he has the insightful questions in general. He just needed to know like what to ask or like how to ask it for what other people know, which he picks up really quick. Guys, we are in here asking better questions than anyone in crypto live every single day. I don't wait till Pay for K comes out with a video. I don't wait for anyone to do anything, and I don't care who I stream over. This is the most legit shit. You know why I know that? Because I ain't getting paid by no one, bitches.
Because we're here. That's why. Because we're here. That is why it's.
Well, no, but if we were getting paid by other people to say different things, would we be the same people?
Oh no, of course not.
Right, and that's what I emphasize here, guys. We're talking about Opsec and security today, management. Me and Sam are the laughing stock of cryptocurrency. Me and Sam will put ourselves as we don't give a fuck because we'll wreck you anyway. We are the laughing stock, but we're going to be the professionals around here in a very short time, guys. In a very short time, we are going to places that I never knew existed within the security realm, because OGs are telling me stuff that I've just never fucking heard before, and it's fucking incredible. We're like staying up all night like kids again.
We can be the examples of what not to do. So you can learn in two different ways. You can learn from going out and taking your own action, and you can learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from the mistakes that we've already made so that you don't run into the same issues that we're running into.
Guys,
crypto.
real quick, I have to do one thing. I forgot about this. You know HEXTANGENT, my Aussie friend?
Mm-hmm.
He's doing the same thing I was doing. I suggested it to him to do the 100 like challenge. He's really fucking close right now. Like he's like 4 or 5 off. If you guys could go to HEXTANGENT and go to his live stream and just click the like button. Go to the HEXTANGENT and click the like button. I said, and then comment and say Jim Rat sent me. Say Jim Rat sent me in the comments. And please, guys, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this. Please, he's a fucking amazing friend of mine. I swear. Like he is one of the guys in Decentralized Minds. He's the only Aussie in these Decentralized Minds as of right now. And I want him to get his 100 likes. He had only an hour or so stream, but he's been streaming for a minute.
Just crossed over. He's at 102. He's at
all right, guys, everyone go in there and say, good job, Tangent, and come over to my stream because I want to know about his
and Moran and Bullish. I'm looking at his comments. Jim Rat, I don't know how to say it. Moran Chandler is over there, so thank you.
Hey, Moran Chandler, by the way, are you new to the stream? I know I've seen your profile picture before.
Yes.
Could you let me know if you're new to the stream? And we love to see you here. You're already asking. If anything is best Opsec you can do is get a passphrase on your hardware wallet. Keep your seed phrase offline. Be safe, guys. Very good general advice, Maria. Thank you so much. Maria Chandler. Hex Squid, he got the 100, guys. Good job. Let's go. Tangent, my man. Hold on 1 second, Sam. Now you talk about the chat because Sam loves checking the chat out. I'm too ADD to fucking talk.
Scotch on the Hex. What's good? Best questions from average beginner and finance beginner. Can't beat. Fire. Yes. I just say emojis now instead of putting them in through the comments. I just speak them aloud. So Awesome. Okay, beef up. What's this one? We're going to cover. So there's two different types of security, right? You've got like the digital security, and then you have physical security. How, Jim Rat, why don't you talk?
Well, there's operational security as far as your name, right? And then there's crypto security. So really, what you would say the two categories are operational security, and then like your financial. Right? Because people are more so like, yes, none of us want to get our bags liquidated, but we're all worried our wives are going to get fucking put into a back room and stabbed and said that if your husband doesn't give me his fucking treasure right now, I'm going to stab your wife.
So I have questions first of all to start, and then I want to hear you had a couple, I think, issues with security in the past. So we want to hear about your stories, but first, when we were on yesterday with Hex to Learn, he was going over, Bradley, we'll get to that just in a second. So when we were talking about MetaMask yesterday and opening up multiple accounts within the same one, can you, when you open up multiple accounts in the same account of MetaMask?
I'll tell you right now your answer. I'll tell you right now your answer.
Is it the same seed phrase for all those accounts inside of there?
So what you want to do, guys, I'm not going to answer all the questions as far as what are all the opportunities. I'm going to tell you what the best thing to do is. So you open up that mask, right? And you get the first one, right? That should be your dummy. That is on your separate computer, nowhere near anyone's fucking eyeballs, anywhere near anything. Never stream anything. You're fucking going to lose all your shit. But that one is your dummy, right? A couple $100 in there. Do some transactions, giveaways. You know what I mean, Sam? Giveaways. When you're explaining through hex.com, it's nice to have a wallet up there that is has no exposure to anything. You can name them differently. When you plug your Trezor in, it comes up on your MetaMask. Do you understand, Sam? So listen to me here. The top right bracket that comes down, right? It says your name, and then you can add an account, right? When I plug my Trezor in, it'll say Trezor 1 at the top of it. So you just get a new web, but it can only be used if you plug it in. You see what I'm saying, Sam? So instead of adding another one, just get another Trezor, and then it'll be a separate, more secure wallet within the same, but it's separate.
Okay, so in MetaMask, if you have multiple accounts in MetaMask,
I don't think that they can have separate seed phrases if it's just from the same, because that's the only.
Okay.
I think, guys, please in the comments, because I had that same fucking question because I was like, I want to amp my security, but I don't want to buy anything, right? That was the exact, like, totally same thought process, 100%. But then I just, you want the dummy account, and then maybe even like a personal account that has like some money in it. And then on a separate computer, on a separate Raspberry, we're going to get into Raspberry so that we're not even going to have this. And dude, in a month, our whole situations are going to be different because we're going to have, I'm going to get you, me and you are going to learn the latest and greatest, cheapest ways to do this. I'm talking about guys, and I had an idea to buy these Raspberries and to sell them to people that can clear them themselves too. Like, not my idea. The guys in the chat that was their idea. They were mentioning it. Like, I want to learn about computers, guys. I want to know what the fuck's going on. I don't know enough about computers. I'm such a furu. Guru.
Chandler says that yes, Sam, you don't know what you're talking about when you ask this question, but the quick answer is yes. So if you have a MetaMask and you have multiple accounts in that MetaMask, then they are all the same seed phrase. From my understanding of what she's saying, that's good to know.
Unless you have a Trezor. When you plug the Trezor in, which is something you buy from a website, you plug it into your USB drive. You go through all the motions, and then it'll come up and it'll say Trezor 1 right on the top. You can switch the name of it. It'll say Trezor 1. That is a wallet that can only be accessed. You can only do transactions if you shove that USB in there.
So another question: if seed phrase is compromised, does that seed phrase has to be used through that wallet, or that seed phrase could be used through any wallet or any way to connect? Because I don't.
One more time.
If I had your seed phrase, can I use any wallet? So say there's what is that one? Coinbase. Coinbase has a wallet. Could you use any seed phrase with any wallet?
I'm pretty sure on a Trezor, you need the Trezor. So yes, you could like type in the seed phrases, but in order to do transactions, you need the Trezor.
So does that mean that if somebody compromises their
I got to send some invites real quick. So just, I'm going to probably ask you.
And I'll talk to the chat here. So if the seed phrase is compromised on let's say MetaMask, can somebody take that seed phrase and use a Trezor to access that money? comments, I don't know, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's see. Mix, aka Jasal. What's good? Same. Okay, so it is the same. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. That's Steaks and Apes. I'm having some beef for breakfast, actually. Get a new wallet. Yo, send me an invite. Crypto Keef said that.
Yeah, I invited Crypto Keef. That seed phrase can be used anywhere. If I compromise your words and have them, I have your money. Is that true? Because can you send stuff, or can you just not do transactions unless your Trezor plugged in? Because that's not always true.
If you're if I compromise, can you put that back? Where was it again?
She said, if I compromise your words and have them, I have your money. And I'm saying, is that necessarily true if you have a Trezor? Because wouldn't you need to plug the Trezor in to do anything? Yeah, you would have my wallet open. Ah, shit. God damn it. Why don't I understand anything? This is why we're inviting people on, guys.
This is exactly why this is the show. So you can all the questions you're like, oh, that's a good question. I don't really know the answer. Let's talk to somebody else. We're okay with looking stupid. It's okay. I don't mind. I'll just ask these questions. I literally don't care what people think of me. So, Moran, if I add this passphrase that is technically a new phrase added with your account, but every address is linked to that seed phrase. Okay, so I think
Wendy's, I sent you an invite. Wendy's, I sent you an invite. Wendy's, I sent you an invite. If you ignore me, I'm going to cry.
Same seed for all accounts, and this is from Bitfinex. Same seed for all accounts in that whole wallet, but every account can also be exported to
all right, I want
wallet.
to stop confusing this because we're going to have someone on who's going to cut through the fat here in a second. Like, I mean, I got a couple people.
Pull up.
No one come on if you're busy, by the way. No, feel free to. But I have a couple people. Tangent's coming on, which he's been in the game since day one. He knows all the shit. And then Kyoto Keef. I'm going to send one to HEXTANGENT.com.
Moran sounds like she knows what she's talking about if you want to come on.
Well, I'm going to assume that she doesn't stream. Most people don't stream.
Yeah.
Which, of course, if you would like to come on and you have. But basically, the coins are attached to the blockchain to these words. These words are just everyone shut the fuck up for a second. Keith has something to say, and his background is absolutely dynamic. Hold on. His makeup person's coming in. Give him 1 second.
Hexagon Papa goes through and answers the question very simply. It sounds like once you don't have your fucking seed phrase, you're fucked.
Yeah, but what if you have your seed phrase and someone else has it, but you still have your Trezor and they've never touched your Trezor?
Get that shit out of there before they do anything with it.
Well, yeah,
I would think because I think from reading these comments, what's good?
Guys, I need answers now, and I'm going to ask you questions now. Okay?
What's up? Yeah, I was like, I was hearing, I was seeing things. I was like, all right, let me get an invite real quick.
No, I knew this is touchy for us because we're just transitioning into this now, right? Like,
well, and it's relevant, so it's super relevant. And the reason I wanted to jump in is because I myself last year was a wrecked pleb with security, right? So like I was doing crypto on my phone. I had Liquid Hex on my MetaMask on my phone. It was like terrible. So I got yelled at by Papa Boner in the Telegram room last year. And all of a sudden, dude, it was just like, whoa. I mean, it was get off your phone. You shouldn't be doing crypto on your phone. So that just like started everything. So ultimately what you want to do is there's a difference between using MetaMask as a front end and, engaging with various dApps and doing swaps through Uniswap or Matcha or 1inch or Opsec soon, and then storing your liquid assets, right? So from a security perspective, when you store liquid assets, let's say you have, like 1 million hex, right? Ultimately, what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to keep that in a MetaMask. MetaMask is really just a front end. Okay, it's just a front end where you sync up to a wallet, so you could use the user interface. All it does is it imports your public keys from that device. So essentially you're just interacting with MetaMask as a front end. Ultimately, the best thing to do is get a Trezor, get several, 3 to 5, and plug the Trezor in. Create a brand new 24-word wallet, and write that down on a piece of paper. Don't let anything, put tape on your camera, put your phone in the other, in the other room. Don't say the words out loud. Don't let anyone be walking around looking at you. Get the 24 words directly from the device. The Trezor will initiate a 24-word seed phrase. It's just a handshake. That's all these devices do, right? It's just a handshake with the device and the blockchain. You create the wallet. You get your 24 words, write it down, get your public address, copy your public address, disconnect the Trezor, never plug it back in. And then what you could do is you go directly to etherscan.io and you just view your account balance. You literally put in your public address.
So you're saying you don't even need it on the front end?
No, you don't need MetaMask connected to 24-word at all. The only time you should be connecting your MetaMask is if you need to swap,
transact,
send, receive. Honestly,
and that's what you were saying before, like with a dummy address, that's like, that would be the reference for that.
Right. And so one of your questions earlier, Sam, was if you have multiple accounts within that same MetaMask, those are all just connected to that same seed phrase. When you download MetaMask, an extension onto your Google Chrome profile, that particular instance of MetaMask is a 12-word seed phrase. You could go in and create a million different little accounts in there. It's all tied to that same seed. So if that seed is compromised, don't keep anything in there.
So if your seed phrase is in MetaMask, the seed phrase is just the key to the location of the funds. And is that accurate? So you can take your seed phrase from MetaMask and use it with a Trezor to access. If somebody was like, hey, Sam, here's my seed phrase because I'm stupid, right? And I wanted to be nefarious, I could take that seed phrase, even if I didn't know what their wallet was, and use any wallet to access that. Is that accurate?
Well, not only just that. Oh, shit. Hold on.
It's basically like, imagine handing somebody the key to your house, but also having the address on it. Like the address to your house. Like you hand some random strange person a key to your house and they don't know where, they can't access it. If you give somebody, no matter where it is, it's like your thing's in a Trezor, it's on a ledger, it doesn't matter. It's literally like handing somebody the key to your house with also the address. So they just literally go and just take all your shit.
Yeah, man, they don't need, if they have your seed phrase, it's over. And it doesn't matter if it's, they've got a 12-word seed phrase for your hardware device or a 24-word for your hardware device or a 12-word for MetaMask. If they have your seed phrase,
don't you need a Trezor to transact? If you have a Trezor and somehow
dude. So you're okay. You're thinking that like it's on the device. Your crypto is on the blockchain. The seed phrase is on the block. Like all this is interacting with the blockchain. Shit. So the Trezor is just like a little bit of protection. Like it's like a spacer between you and like entering stuff on your computer. Okay, but everything is on the blockchain. So if somebody has those seed phrase, they're gonna drain your account. Now I am working on something with my team, and we believe we have figured out a way to have something that's even safer than Trezor. Whereas if I gave you the keys to a wallet and it had hex stakes in there, the hacker would be able to drain everything but the hex stakes. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But I'm not going to say any more on that until we're done. But yeah, we're working on that, and it is plausible. So, and
the thing too about the Trezor devices is, as Wendy's was saying, your coins never leave the blockchain. So these little devices, these little Trezor devices right here, these things, I could go and smash this with a hammer right now and destroy it, melt it in a fire, throw it out my car, throw it in the river, whatever. Doesn't matter. The device itself doesn't matter because your coins never leave the blockchain. So your coins aren't actually on this little device here. Right? They're not on here. This little device simply acts as a handshake. It is literally a way for you to access the blockchain, and then you have to confirm the transaction directly on your device. So if you want to send, let's say you have, like I said, like 1 million hex just sitting in a wallet, which again, you shouldn't have that much sitting in one particular wallet, and I'll tell you why in a sec. But if you wanted to send 500,000 hex from that address, you would actually have to plug in your Trezor. You'd have to, hook up to MetaMask, import the device, and then actually, click send, put in the new address you want, and then the device will pop up and say, would you like to confirm? And you actually have to click confirm directly on that specific device. But the reason why the device isn't, necessarily important is because, once you get that 24-word seed, let's say I go and smash this with a hammer right now. I can go ahead and order a brand new device directly from Trezor.io. They send it to me here. And then instead of clicking set up a new wallet, I can recover a previous existing seed phrase, and you do what's called an advanced recovery. And the device will show you a bunch of tiles with various letters where you have to go through. I would recommend y'all go out there and actually try to do, train yourself on how to do these advanced recoveries. It does take a little while. Like, you kind of like have to figure out, like, what does this mean? Okay. Because it'll show you like a list of 6 different tiles, and it'll say like, A through C, and then K, and then M through, O, or whatever. And you have to go in, and whatever the spelling of your word is, you'll have to go through and kind of figure it out. There's some good videos on how to do it, but you can recover that 24-word seed phrase on that new device. And that way you're not keying in your seed phrase into a computer or a phone, and you use the device.
So when you go through, say you lose your shit, somebody like destroys it, flood the house, whatever, happens, and you don't have the physical device anymore, but you still have your seed phrase. When you go through to punch it in, Trezor has something to add on top of that, so you're not physically typing them into the keyboard.
You're gonna click tiles on the screen with your mouse corresponding to what the tiles are on the device itself. So
to spell out your words.
To spell out your word, correct. And you really only need the first 4. It's basically like the first 4 letters of each word that you'll click, and then you'll have 3 options of different words to pick, and then you'll select the corresponding tile with that word. Once you've spelled it correctly, the system, these devices will like trim down all of the words. There's like 2,100 different words in 2,000 words in the English dictionary, and so it'll trim them down. Once you get to the first 4 letters, you'll have 2 or 3 options of whatever the word will be, and you'll click that word on the corresponding tile on your screen. So I know it sounds a little complicated, but it's a way to prevent you from having to actually type your seed phrase in to any kind of, keyboard, phone, whatever. That way you can actually log in and actually, approve, confirm that transaction. And the reason why I say you need to have multiple wallets is that the idea is to spread your liquid assets out, right? So a lot of people here have sacrificed for Pulse Chain, PulseX. They have Hex, they have Hedron. Like, I keep all of mine separate. I sacrifice for Pulse, I sacrifice for PulseX. I have Liquid Hex as well that I'm planning on building a staking ladder with. I have Hedron as well. So I keep all of those in different wallets. And the idea of spreading out your assets, like let's say if you had 5 wallets, right? You're going to split out all your assets into fifths. So if a hacker by whatever, something happens, maybe it's not a hacker, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend that breaks into your house, whatever, someone gets one of your seed phrases. If they get access to that wallet, then they only get access to 1/5 of your total liquid assets, right? So as a precautionary measure, you want to spread out those assets, liquid assets amongst
several. You're talking about 2 layers of diversification in the sense of like, okay, you got $1 million here, so don't fucking keep it in one Trezor.
Exactly.
But you spread it out, but then you also physically spread those out, so they're not all in your physical presence in that location.
Right. Like if you have family members, I would go one of your seed phrases in a painting, and I'll to put your seed phrases on steel. Or either stainless steel or titanium plates. Do not order those fucking kits. Stamp your seed phrase kit here, engrave your seed phrase kit here. Don't do that. That's a doxing. That you're going to dox yourself. Now some system somewhere, some website knows that you just ordered a fucking stamped seed phrase kit. So somebody somewhere knows that Jim Rat Crypto has a seed phrase. He has a non-custodial wallet. We should look at him. We should try to watch him. We should try to hack him. Don't fucking order those kits. Go to your local hardware store, buy stainless steel washers with stainless steel bolts and stainless steel locks. You can get like a self tightening lock, and you ratchet it down in place, or you can use like a lock thread, like a Loctite. Put that on the thread on the inside lock, and then
And so you're just having on the washers, and then you're just putting it onto something. Nobody's gonna have.
Yeah. So you take you can go to Amazon. You buy a $16 1/4-inch stamp set. And these are literally like, they're like little, here, I'll show you. Let me get you a little thing.
Well, he's looking at, Wendy, thank you for that analogy of the key and the address. For me, that really clicked when you were talking about that. So what is this exactly?
So this is a little stamp.
Oh,
This is a little, see at on the bottom of it, it has a B. You just literally take this and you take your freaking, I have a blank, I'll show y'all. I got a blank seed for, these are, so that ultimately this is what it'll look like. There's nothing on here. I just picked up more hardware, but essentially, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you're going to have, stainless steel washers, 24 of them. You take this and you literally just take a hammer and you just bang, bang, bang. And you actually just stamp, you stamp that number 1, and then the letter of each each word, right?
This is awesome. No, this is great though.
No, this is as good as it gets, guys. You don't see that this is what really goes on behind the scenes. These are what these guys really pay attention to.
And because they're separated, you can also separate your seed phrase in terms of another form of security, which I'm assuming you're probably going to mention. Those 24 words you can physically separate as well, as long as you pay attention.
Yeah, so you could do you could split it up into like 4. You could get creative on how you want to split it up. I would say ultimately at the end of the day, you don't want to overcomplicate yourself, right? You don't want to make it too much to manage. That was one thing that we all had talked about in the Telegram chat with Papa, was like, oh yeah, I just want to have all these different seeds. Well, if you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wallets, that's 10 times 24 seed phrase. I mean, that's a lot to stamp, a lot to manage. So don't overcomplicate it for yourself. But if you're planning on, holding liquid assets long term, there's nothing safer than just creating a cold wallet offline, not connected to any front end. Send your liquid assets to that public address and just use Etherscan to view the account balance of the coins in there currently. And then have a burner address with MetaMask just to simply swap, send, receive, connect with a DApp, whatever. And then other people get a little crazy. I mean, there's ways you can, if you're technologically advanced, I'm not. I like to do the whole manual, tried and true method of where do I, keeping my seeds on a metal medium in a safe, or spreading them out, putting, maybe 1/3 with me, another 1/3 with my mom, another 1/3 with my dad. You could do something like that. Other people just, I heard somebody does, they take their seed phrase, their washers, and they put it in like a coffee can, put it at the bottom of a bunch of coffee grinds. You could do that. I had an idea too of you could do a mold, put a little box together with 2x4s, fill it up halfway with concrete, take your seeds, put them in a contractor bag, and then fill the rest of the concrete up. And now you've got a cinder block, and you can put that in your backyard. Only thing is, if you need to access, if you need that seed phrase for whatever reason, it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to get it. But the idea is that if your seed phrase is sitting in a concrete cinder block in your backyard, the robbers and burglars at your house, they're not going to be like, oh, let me go grab that cinder block real quick. And while I'm grabbing the computer and the TV and the Xbox and the guitars.
Real quick, before we go down this rabbit hole anymore, because you got to always refer it back to what we're talking about, people coming in here and stuff. So guys, listen to me real quick. I'm going to speak for a few minutes. I'm going to ask a question to both Wendy's and Crypto Keef. It's going to be kind of a long form answer, so just be ready for that. Guys, there's a couple tweets I want you to look at. Steaks and Apes just did a really nice tweet for me saying to get me to 500 subs. So I'm going to obviously tell you to retweet that one. Me and Steaks are really cool. If you don't know him and you just think he's a shilling NFTs, he is one of the brightest dudes I've met as far as guys that are even into that stuff. I don't know much about that stuff, but he knows about all the regular Hex stuff. He knows about everything. He's a smart ass kid, and he's young. He's trying a lot. Go retweet that tweet for him. He does a lot of NFT shit. I don't know anything about NFT shit. I don't buy NFT shit. But he likes NFT shit, and if you like it too, then whatever. Anyway, and I also, my pinned tweet, get this out, guys, because there's actually nerds that could use this help. I need this help so bad. I literally, this has nothing to do with my channel anymore. I need all this help so bad because I'm going to get absolutely wrecked. But not really. I'm just being a little dramatic, but
Yeah, I mean, look, as long as you keep your seeds safe, and you don't don't.
It's honestly way harder to get hacked than like most people realize. Like 99.9% of hacks, like quote unquote hacks, is people giving their seed phrases to people. So if you're not doing stupid shit like that and you're not interacting with like contracts that you don't understand, like your chance of getting hacked is almost zero. So like all this stuff is like very good, but a little bit of like common sense just goes a long way.
So there's a question in the comments that I don't know the answer to from Crypto Roof Pump.
Yep, great question. I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Crypto Roof Pump, there's an option for you to do. What you can do is, and I recommend, if you have stakes through MetaMask, like you connected to go.hex.com, what you can do is get a Trezor directly from Trezor.io. Do not order it from any third-party websites. Don't order from Amazon. Do not order from fucking eBay. Those are scams. They're all for sure compromised, hacked. You got to go directly to Trezor.io. Get, order several of these devices. You can get a Model 1 for like $63 US. You have to pay in euros. It's kind of little, sometimes your bank may give you some problems, but use a credit card, you'll be all right. What you could do is when you get your new device, Crypto Roof Pump, take your 12-word MetaMask seed phrase, and what you could do is migrate that to the Trezor wallet. And what that means is you go in, when you set up the wallet, you're not going to create a brand new wallet. You're going to import an existing seed phrase. And there's a couple really good videos on how to do that on a couple different websites. We're working on it with Hex to Learn. Shout out to my boy Famous. There are some links that'll take you to howtopulse.com, and they have the videos.
Question for you on that one. So you mentioned Trezor and 24-word seed phrase. So you can take a 12-word seed phrase from MetaMask and use it on Trezor?
You can import it onto a Trezor and do what we call a migratory setup, where you migrate your 12 words from MetaMask to that hardware device. It's just an extra layer of protection, being that your MetaMask is, connected to the front end. It's kind of like a hot wallet, right? Because it's an internet tool. It's connected. So you're going to migrate those 12 words to the hardware device. That way, if some kind of malicious code gets in, or you get a duster attack or something, like whatever, you actually would have to confirm on that device in order to actually end those stakes or transfer.
So how do you know? Because if this is brand new, right? So I'm like, oh, I just got my fucking shit in the last 2 weeks. And I just, 2 weeks before that, learned what Hex was, right? So I'm like, is your shit on MetaMask? I fucking don't know. Like I go to hex.go or whatever it's called, and that's how I look at it. But I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, we have to always remember nuance with the
very new.
Sam's very Sam was on my show for the first time 2 weeks ago, had no idea what Hex was. 2.5 weeks ago. So guys, he's a very smart dude and he asked a lot of good questions, but this is the reality of the people we're talking to. They're not all Wendy's and Crypto KEEF locked and loaded, got wrecked a couple times and turned it around, and they're just, he was doing something, he was just bodybuilding and shit. So it's just like a totally different vibe. Like bodybuilders don't care about Opsec. I have never heard about a bodybuilder saying Opsec once. And I've been talking to bodybuilders on YouTube for a long fucking time.
Unless they're doing illegal shit like selling steroids.
Well, yeah, when they're selling steroids, that can be a little bit.
The funny thing is there's a lot of things that are very, very blown out of proportion, right? So the richest people in crypto have no OPSEC. Their full names are doxed. So a lot of people think somebody finds out my name. No, it's not like that. But obviously you want to have as much protection as possible, but yeah, I mean, if it's one thing, I think especially noobs should dip their toes in, right? You don't want to just give everything away because you have so much to learn. But it's like anything else, right? When you were bodybuilding, you didn't just go into the gym and have this perfect set, you were just slinging weights around probably recklessly, right? So it's just stuff that you absorb over time. You'll listen to people, you'll watch people, and you'll slowly become a pro. That's just how it goes. Nobody was, I've sent money to the wrong addresses when I was a noob. I mean, I've done, I made every mistake in crypto. So, it comes with time.
Yeah, Randy Larski was on here saying he sent 6 Bitcoin to wrong fucking address.
I like Wendy already because he's using examples. Not only with the bodybuilding thing, but before we were last night we talked for what is it, an hour and a half, 2 hours on Telegram about security and just the nuances and VPNs, which we can get into in a minute. But when we were talking about it, after I got off, I'm like, so when you think about security from a very broad macro sense, security is like your health, where it's not like you go to the gym once and you're healthy, right? Or you start to like drop eating processed sugar and not eating fucking McDonald's. Like that's one step in the process, but that's one step in the process. If you want a healthy life, if you want a longevity, you that's something that you do on a daily basis. And it sounds like that's what you're referencing in terms of the security. And that's how I thought about it last night, that your security is, if your security is important, just like if your health is important for you, you got to pay attention to that shit fucking daily. If you're that active, if you're that deep into it, or pay attention to it on just a regular basis. Maybe that's once a month. Maybe it's once a quarter. Maybe, like whatever it is, you need to stay on top of that shit because it's never ending. Shit is always evolving.
You do always bring things up with that context, Wendy's. Like, I always context. Like it's always a thing.
Right.
Kind of
I mean, I try to make it understandable for people because it doesn't do anybody justice if you're just speaking too complex. But I mean, there's levels to this shit, right? So it's the same thing with security, right? Like, so you guys lift, you take care of yourself, right? That's better than somebody that's not physically impressive, right? If you're a 310 manlet, your security is a little different. If some people, I carry a gun, right? I have a CCW. That's
Absolutely.
Another level of protection, right? So it's just, it depends. Now, have I ever needed to use a gun? No. Is it necessary? Maybe not, but it's just an extra level of protection, right? And some people may find, some things necessary and some people may not. So it really just depends on, what you're doing. But I think that you can't ever learn too much, right? And then you can kind of decide what you want to do, what's feasible for your life and, everything like that. Like some people, I always tell people like, hey, buy a separate device that you only use for crypto. Don't surf the web on your crypto computer. Don't do anything like that. If you're doing everything correctly, then you would maybe even not even need a hardware device. But like there's levels to this, and people do make mistakes and stuff. So the more security you have, the better, right? It's one of those things. Can you really have too much security, right? Is it like, is it bad to carry a gun? If you don't need it, you don't need it, right? So it's just one of those things.
But when you need it, you need it. That's
right.
When you need it, you need it.
You don't want to be a victim, right? You don't want to be a victim, but you don't want to go out and be a fucking hero either. There's no need to go and put yourself in a dangerous situation. And so I definitely echo 410Ds, and I recommend everyone go. And if you don't have a gun, go take a gun safety class, go to a shooting range, go get your, concealed carry permit. They'll teach you a lot about how, what the legalities are, what you're supposed to do, depending on your state, of course. Mm-hmm. So highly, highly recommend that as well. You can't be too careful. But there was a question from Jerry Oaksmith that I wanted to answer. He said, can we stamp on brass? And the answer to that is absolutely no. The reason why is, stainless steel has a melting point of about 2,500 degrees. Okay. The average house fire doesn't get above about 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So what's the melting point of brass? Probably a lot less. Also, brass is very malleable. So, that could potentially, if you try to stamp in the brass, you might be, break. There could be like a
1,700 says according to Google.
1,700. So okay, not as much as stainless steel, but stainless steel is also not going to rust. It's going to be better long term. It's not going to, you're not going to have the oxidization that happens with other metals. And so I would just recommend stainless steel. It's a little bit more expensive at the hardware store than like, your brass or your regular just what do they call that? I'm drawing a blank on the other metals now, but
there's tungsten is very good.
Just the general stuff. Galvanized will rust. Like, you want stainless steel because it's going to be the most, it's going to be the strongest like resistance of metal oxidization. It has a higher melting point than everything else. And if you can engrave, that's ultimately the best way. Like if you have a Dremel and you can engrave it, you can actually like permanently scratch it all the way down and actually take off layers. With the stamp, you're not going as far into the metal. So Hex Luther actually had brought that up the other night that, hey, that could potentially rub away over time. But I mean, I'm not like, out there swinging my seed phrases around like this all day, right? If they're, if they're in the safe,
so going back
your house, that's
great points. I completely agree, and it's definitely there's massive opportunity, at least with myself, because we had talked about like your name, and you get to see that you guys also have pseudonyms, but right, like this is my fucking name, and I have 10,000 fucking pieces of content on the internet over the last roughly 10 years. So there's a massive amount.
This is my question. Like I want to do it at the 45-minute mark because I'm going to start timestamping. Please, it's very hard to timestamp, guys, when you don't have someone working for you. So if someone could help me, not do it for me, but give me a tool of any sort that helps them with that. For fuck's sake, timestamping is the most dumb thing I've ever done in my whole entire life, and I can't do it. But I will do it. 45 seconds, real quick. I'm going to give the question, and then you guys can say whatever the fuck you want. This is for Wendy's and Crypto Keef, and this is a question from me and Sam. And it's a theoretical question, of course. None of this is any sorts of advice of any sorts or anything real. But it's Wendy's and Crypto Keef. I want you to put yourself into another situation, a theoretical situation. Let's say you have roughly $1 million plus in assets in crypto. You've been online for a while. You have a bit of a following. Your Opsec's completely 100% horrible. Like, for a fact, any one of us could find your information in the next 10 minutes if we wanted to. No one would have any reason to necessarily, but no one knows you. Like, just like if it was me, for example, like I don't have $1 million in assets for fucking sure, but nobody knows what I have, right? But they all know I'm some hex dude. And my operational security is not as bad as Sam's, guys. I have a name. I don't have email online. Like you would actually have to. But Sam has been making videos with, I'm just going to say it, Sam, because this is the most intimate conversation we're probably ever going to be able to have about this before we go fully balls deep into the rabbit hole. Because, guys, he's been doing content for 12 years with his legal name, and he has 12,000 pieces of content in stores everywhere. And we were in the Telegram last night, and we were really just trying to have a thought experiment. Like, what do we do next? Like, should I move? Should he change his legal name? Like, he's going to make content for the rest of his life. That's what he loves to do. He's been doing it forever.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say honestly, dude, like, change your passwords to everything. Make 32 character passwords for everything. Special character, number, letter, symbol, if it allows it. It's pretty crazy. If you go into your iPhone and you go to your settings and you go in and you look at security and you go into the password section, it'll show you all of your passwords, that all of your logins for all your different sites. More often than this was kind of a shocker for me last year, was like I had like 50 different compromised accounts that were like, when I say compromised, I mean I used a username and a password, like an email and a password combination with a website one time back in history, and that website was compromised and my information was leaked out on the dark web or whatever. So go in and change all of your passwords in everything: your bank, your Gmail, your iCloud, your iPhone, your YouTube, and I mean, I can't really think of many. I've stopped using other, devices. Like I've stopped using Facebook. I've stopped using Instagram. Other people, I know that's like that's a source of revenue. There's like a marketing thing involved with that. So just change those passwords. Really the best thing to do is just try to protect you from yourself. And don't click on websites you don't trust. Make sure when you go and Google something, try to make sure you're on a VPN. I always recommend that. I know some people think, that's BS, but I'm like, look, it's better than nothing. It's better than
they're like $3 a month. Yeah. It's like, why not?
And so we were talking about that last night. But so the VPN can just basically protect, like you can figure out your.
It just changes it masks your IP address. So it's not like it's not like 100% like, oh, it's going to protect you from everything. It
doesn't have that good of uptime, I heard, either, as far as it kind of just bugs in and out on occasion.
Well, I've
heard specifically, like, if the guys that are like so like about every little fucking thing, they're like, even if somebody really wanted your shit, a VPN probably wouldn't do it because it pulls in and out on occasion.
Well, you could also like double VPN, truthfully. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah, you could go down the rabbit hole and change your proxy settings and like go crazy down that. I haven't done it. I just use a service. look, I mean, I pay for service. It's like, you know, you kind of hope that that they're legit and that they're not like sharing your information. Because that's the thing, when you have a VPN, some people don't trust like certain VPNs because are they really, you know, saving your data? Or are they not saving your data? Are they masking your IP? Are they saying they are? You know, it can get a little wonky there. But I mean, just take the steps you can and try to stay away from, you know, just leaving your Chrome browser open. And like, you know, I turn my computer off every day, right? I only use a couple programs. You know, I have everything on I have my firewall set up. I have my, you know, all my Google Chrome profile settings. Like I block all cookies. It's kind of a pain in the ass because like when I go in to pay some of my utility bills, I actually can't because like the system, like these websites think that I'm a malicious bot because of the way that like I have all of my settings enabled in Google Chrome where, you know, you can't read or receive any information from me. You can't, like, I won't download any external images. Same thing for the Gmail. Like if you lock down your Gmail, you know, because there are some malicious web, you know, emails that can come in with images loaded into them that could have malicious code in those images. So it's like, you just want to make sure you're not clicking on anything. You get a weird text message or a weird email, you don't know who it's from, just don't click on it, you know, don't even interact with it. Same thing for your wallet. If you have coins that appear in your wallet and you don't know what they are and you don't know where they're from, you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to go sell these.
Leave them alone.
You go and touch them or you try to sell them, it's a duster, it's a dust attack, it's going to wipe out your whole wallet, it's going to take all your assets. So
can you tell what two things? First of all, I still need to know how to tell if my shit's in fucking MetaMask. Second is, what is a duster attack?
Yeah, so duster is just when you get like random coins that appear in your account that you don't know what they are, and the minute you go to send them or sell them, there's a code that's written within it to now. I guess maybe Wendy's, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something there where it reads the wallet and then it gets access to the seed phrase and it can go ahead and drain all the other tokens that are in that wallet. So
I've seen that with NFTs. I know that's happened with NFTs. I don't know if that's happened with tokens, but what I've seen with tokens is I don't know exactly how they do it, but they'll essentially send you like this token. You go to trade it, and then I don't know if it's like like an MEV attack or something, but it'll like essentially drain all the ETH from your wallet. Yeah. But I don't think it's like the same exact method as the other kind. But yeah, I mean, like if you don't know what the hell it is, like it's just not worth it, you know.
If you don't know what's in that, if you don't know that coin or whatever the hell it is, like especially it's so important right now with this airdrop coming out for Pulse and Pulse X, like there's going to be scammers, there's going to be people telling you, hey, stop your hex here, or hey, we're giving away free Pulse here. Like, don't fucking do any of that, right? Only go through official channels. Don't click on websites you don't know. Don't give your seed phrases out to anybody, for the love of God. If anyone hits you up in a DM or a private message, or you get an email from MetaMask saying confirm your information, it's a fucking scam. You will be liquidated. Just keep
if
that.
If there's a legitimate airdrop, you're gonna know about it. So if you like are interacting with your wallet, like to give you like a point of reference, my oldest wallets have like thousands of coins in them. That I'm like, what the hell is this? It's just like literally every day someone will send, you know, like a coin to it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow. So you can't. So they just sit there and you don't do anything.
Well, he doesn't even know they're going in because he's interacted with contracts that give you free airdrops over the years, and he's just like they've gone by and just been automatic for his old wallets that he probably hasn't even observed.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think like, so this is why I quit my job personally. Like no one else fucking do this. So stupid. Worst idea ever. You're going to get wrecked if you're literally not a fucking spaz monkey. But I was so illiterate. I'm so illiterate with all this stuff. Not at this moment, maybe in particular, but let's say a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago. If I had to work as much as I was working, I literally could not keep up with all this fucking shit because I didn't even know what was going on to begin with. I was just like, I never caught up until I was finally like, I'm going to spend 12 hours a day.
That is true. But I would say this, like bear markets, your money goes so far. So like you could have gotten a security job where you're literally just sitting at a desk watching a monitor, and you could have earphones in, listening to podcasts like this, getting paid. And while you're doing the same kind of learning, because I mean, I even did that as a nurse, dude. I had like my headset in, I'm listening to like high level, podcasts about, the blockchain and stuff like that. And I was still making tons of money. The thing is like, let's say you're making $25 an hour. If you're making that in the bear market and you're investing that, like I was calculating, I'm like, okay, like I'm getting paid like, $50, $60 an hour, but I'm really making like $5,000 an hour because I'm investing at the bottom of the bear market. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. So like every hour I was working, I was making $5,000. So it's like, yeah, you could potentially live off of like very little and not work, but your opportunity cost on like how much you can make and still, still learn, you would just have to search for a job like that where you're doing security, you're just doing a lot of walking around and you can listen, you have, there was jobs essentially like at the psych hospital I had where you would literally just sit with a patient for 12 hours and just make sure they didn't like hurt themselves. Right. So literally I could just put both headphones in and for 12 hours be listening to all kinds of podcasts and, learning about various things or whatever, because there was that kind of downtime and I was getting paid the entire time. So I would say that and there is a point, but it's once you have money that with the knowledge that you have, it doesn't make sense to go to work because your opportunity cost on like doing a trade or doing something is so high. You'll make more money staying home and just doing crypto than you would going to work. But in a bear market, man, I'm even tempted. Like I have tons of money, man, and I'm tempted to go, take like a travel assignment and make like $30,000-$40,000 a month because it's like the amount of money that I could turn that money into is just astronomical right now. I mean, like Hex is in like an 80% dip. So it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
What were a couple of those top 2 podcasts, Wendy? Just curious. I don't listen to podcasts often. Well, probably several times a week, but like
I like listening to Bankless, and that's like a Ethereum DeFi podcast. There's some like Unchained, they would talk about some deep stuff because I had found out about like EIP 1559 like literally years before it even was implemented, and it's like those little bits of alpha when Ethereum was like $88. Everyone's like, oh, Ethereum's dead, and I'm learning like, oh, about the merge and like, okay, well, Ethereum's going to eventually lower its inflation. It's going to have a triple halving. And I think I was posting about that like 2 years ago, that Ethereum's literally going to go through a triple halving. It's going to flip Bitcoin. And you're even seeing like in this bear market, like Ethereum's price performance is pretty decent right now. And it still hasn't gone through the merge. The merge is happening later this year. It's like, I remember guys shilling, Bitcoin when Ethereum was $88. And I'm like, man, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for people, and they weren't, none of the big channels were listening. They're all like, you should, store your wealth in Bitcoin. And I'm like, do you guys even know about EIP 1559? They didn't.
I don't know. I literally don't know what I'm just saying like random numbers.
Well, yeah, that was since you've been brand new to crypto, like EIP it's a way for in just nuanced terms, he knows way more specific, but they were trying to basically fix all the things that's wrong with Ethereum. And
it was literally just like like simplifying gas, but the big thing was that it basically does what like Pulse Chain does in the sense that like every portion of a transaction, it goes to burn Ethereum. So it makes Ethereum potentially deflationary. So Ethereum's inflation is going to be reduced by over 90% in the coming months. Over 90%.
So the inflation is decreasing, but it's not going to be deflationary.
It could be it could be deflationary if there is like so like during bull markets it will definitely be deflationary. But like in times like this when the gas is like already pretty low, it's going to be probably reduced like 90%.
Okay, so how do I tell if my shit is in MetaMask? So I got to get that answered for selfish reasons.
Well, for one, you could like look at your address on the Block Explorer and just like inspect your address and see if there's coins there. If it's not showing up in your MetaMask, you might need to add the coin. So you would go to like add token, and then you could paste the contract address in there. If it's like a common coin, like let's say like USDC or something like that, you could usually just hit like add token and then just type in USDC and it would just add it for you. But typically, like if I send something to you, it will be there. You just might not be able to see it. So then you would just have to add it.
So Block Explorer, what is that? Okay, I've heard Etherscan. I've seen like screenshots and stuff on Twitter and like checked. I've like looked at it, but I haven't dove into it. Is it pretty self-explanatory?
Yeah. So basically, it's like everything.
Yeah, go type it in your browser right now. Go to Etherscan.
Yeah, etherscan.io, and you can just copy and paste your public address. I keep my I mean, I don't know, maybe this isn't the best Opsec, but I keep my public addresses on a little, file, a doc on my computer. I mean, it's public address, so it's not like anyone could really do anything unless I guess they could get it and like identify you and see the account balance and be like, oh, wow, we need to go and like rob this dude, find his seed.
Okay, so you see at the top where it says the address, or what does it say? Can't see. It says, yeah, but you can see where the search bar is. Okay, so type in, because you can also do ENSs, which is the Ethereum naming service. So type in Vitalik.eth, and you will be able to see Vitalik's address by doing that. Vitalik.eth.
Oh yeah, and we should show them how to check the token approvals thing. Sam, you're muted, by the way.
I don't think you typed it in correctly.
Okay, I was no, I did not. I was asking, how do you spell Vitalik?
V-I-T-A-L-I-K.
How spell it for me? Sorry.
V-I-T-A-L-I-K.
.eth.
Oh, sorry. I don't do this either.
V-I-L-A.
V-I-T.
V-I-T. Like that. .th.
.eth.
Was that correct?
Yes, correct.
I'll zoom in. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit easier.
Okay, scroll down. Okay. And so you can see you can see all like the related transactions and stuff like, yeah. So go up. If you go up, so this is an ENS name controller or whatever. So like, obviously like Vitalik bought that. So you can click that address right there.
The top one?
Yep. They're all really the same or whatever. So that is actually you see 0xD8DA. That is Vitalik's address, and he essentially shortened it with the Ethereum naming service. So like if he wanted to look up his address, all he has to do is type Vitalik.eth from anywhere instead of memorizing his entire public address, right? So he can literally just go anywhere. And so you can see all the tokens, you can see the transactions.
So like, that's what this person did too? Victoria G?
Yeah, it's just ENS. Yeah, you could have like, Sam.eth. I'm sure it's taken, but you could have like Sam.eth, for a wallet or whatever. So then you wouldn't have to, copy your address all the time or whatever.
Okay, so then a transfer is basically it's moving money and then deposits going into this address. It's simple as that.
Yep. And then there's going to be like contract address. I mean, you could like literally click the details and like see what's going on. Yeah, see who it's Tornado Cash.
Can you how does Tornado Cash? So this is what you're looking at.
He's got 100 hex.
Yeah, because somebody sent 100 hex to like all the top ETH wallets.
Where did you see that?
That's a smart idea. Spot.
It's funny because like I had gotten it in one of my ETH wallets was like one of the top ETH wallets at the time, and I was already in hex, and I was like, oh, let me just add this to my stake. This is 100x.
So you can see if you look at the address, is there a way to tell what is in somebody's wallet from token standpoint?
Yeah. Okay, so go back.
Go back. Okay.
And scroll up. Okay, so you see where it says balance. That's no. Go down. Just go down a little bit. See overview.
Scroll down.
Down.
Okay.
Down.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So balance. That's the Ethereum. Okay. The value is the US dollar value of Ethereum, and then token is any ERC20. So click that list, and you can see all the ERC20s, and they're in order based on how much money.
Oh, dope. Okay, this is fantastic.
So you could even see hex, but see how there's like all these useless tokens that have like no value, right? That's essentially like all scams basically.
Because this is where the value, like this shit's just trash all below this that line.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Even some of those are complete trash too. So
because they're doing it for like marketing purposes. Effectively, right?
Precisely.
Well, that's why market cap doesn't mean shit, because somebody like that can go create an ERC20 coin and say there's 1 trillion coins and put, $1 or $10 in liquidity, and now they can say I have a $10 trillion market cap. Wow, it's bullshit.
The underlying ethos is basically like, you'll learn this as you get better. Like everything in crypto is a scam. Like literally everything is a scam except like a few fucking things. Like literally like 10 to 20 projects that are just not trying to rip people of their money and move.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is a casino. I mean, most people will end up losing their money in crypto. So that's just the way it is. But if you're making, I've talked about this like many times on streams, is like if you're evaluating projects correctly, you will win more than you'll lose. And it's about being consistent, right? Because anybody can make money one time. It's about consistently winning in crypto. So you really want to, surround yourself with people that like have been winning for years. To answer somebody in the chat, no, the merge is not going to help with gas fees. Like that's really going to be like layer 2 scaling, like Arbitrum and stuff like that. Sharding, all that kind of stuff will help. But no, this will not help. It will help ETH holders because essentially ETH will become harder money, right? Just like Pulse Chain being deflationary and having burning and all that like makes Pulse Chain and PulseX harder money. It doesn't necessarily help the transaction fees on Pulse Chain. So,
what are your thoughts on at some point, whether it's this year, next year, 3 years, 6 years, 8 years down the road, after another cycle or two, you're going to be at a point like you said where the opportunity cost it's not going to make sense to earn fiat. Like it just doesn't make any sense to do that at some point in the future. And do you see right now we have some issues going between the two worlds, right? But do you just see that being solved as more fiat is just sucked into crypto and other solutions come up? Like how do you think about that? Because you have it sounds like you have a lot more knowledge and depth of experience from if you have all that shit.
If you've been in crypto a long time, you already have seen it's gotten a lot better. It's just going to continue to get better. Like Richard Hart even says, like the best devs are not in blockchain. They're in the regular world. As the money keeps getting sucked into crypto, that will get better and better devs. The user interface experiences will get better and better. You're already seeing more and more banks get into like Bitcoin and stuff. Like it's going to happen. It's just going to take time. I mean, this is, we're still in its infancy. And that's why I always say, like, guys, this is literally the opportunity of a lifetime. If you make the right decisions, you get in the right projects, because, just like the railroad was so massive for America and it literally set up, families for, generations. This is that kind of money.
Yeah. And we were actually talking about this in the space last night. Like, because remember in Richard's space on Saturday, he said that there is a global or a central exchange that wants to list Pulse Chain. Their devs are already working on the nodes to do it. We don't know who that is. We can only speculate, but apparently they have a global footprint. In my mind, I say, hell yeah, let's bring on, let me have a major exchange come in and market buy my Pulse, not me in particular, but like our ecosystem, put millions and millions and millions of dollars of buy pressure on our blockchain, which, by the way, in order to buy the Pulse, they're going to have to go into the Pulse X, right, to swap their USDC. So that just, adds value to the Pulse X DEX. But from a KYC, like from an on and off ramp perspective, right, if you want to get your fiat on and off, who better and why not easier to have it done with somebody who lists, Pulse Chain? And then, hey, look, there's our fiat on and off ramp, right? Because ideally, look, you're going to need to, obviously we all pump and pump. I've been putting crypto in forever. I haven't actually converted anything back to USDC and tried to pull any profits yet because I'm just pumping. But, eventually there will be an opportunity for us to pull some, profits down the road. Maybe it's the yield that we earn from delegating our Pulse. Maybe it's the yield, the additional PulseX, or maybe it's some of the fees that we earn and we want to sell some, right? So why not have it be with a central exchange where they've already got the KYC, they've already got the licenses and the security with the FINRA law and the various SOC 1 reporting. So they've already taken care of all that compliance and all that bullshit. So if they want to come in and list Pulse Chain, and if I want to offload some of my Pulse or PulseX, whatever down the road, hell yeah, make it easy for me to come in and go in and out of crypto with a central exchange that lists, our Pulse chain, right? So I see it good. I see it being buy pressure on Pulse. I also see it being good from a user perspective, being able to just on and off ramp, through that central exchange. I know we all hate central exchanges. I get it. I do too. But as it stands right now today, until a hexagon or group of hexagons builds a on-off ramp, which is very expensive. We've already looked into money transmitter licenses. You need basically it's like $2.6 million because you have to have $1 million bond.
Oh, come on, guys. Put the donor thing at the bottom. We'll get it before the end of the stream. 2.6 million. 2.6 million. Richard, I know you're listening, you little jackrass. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm going to real quick, just for all the new people that come in, I like to interject every once in a while, just because there are guys from my personal world, as I know now, and I will never go out again, by the way, that know me as Jim Rat Crypto, and I'm absolutely scared to death now. So I'm not leaving my house anymore. And we have a guy in the house who does leave the crib. His name's HEXTANGENT. He's the coolest Aussie that I've yet to meet. And has the most legit channel as far as being transparent, honest, and saying what's on his mind, rather than saying what other people have programmed him to say. And that's what I like about HEXTANGENT. How you doing, my guy?
Thank you. I'm well. Yeah, it sounds like we're going to solve Richard Hart's capital deployment problem.
Well, no, first we have to teach.
Just that 2.6 million is just the start. That's just going to be the first thing we're going to do with his money.
We started this conversation out with saying 100. We were we need Opsec help now. I need now help. And I know you know this life. There's no way you don't. There's not a fucking chance you don't know about the Opsec life through and through. You've been doing Bitcoin for a while. I know you have to. I don't know what it's like down in Aussie. Maybe it's a little more chillax because they don't have pistols and shit. But
yeah,
here where I'm from, they have pistols and shit, and they all have pistols and shit. And it scares the living crap out of me. My Opsec is 100% trash nugget, and I need to fucking learn now. And I promise everyone who's watching this, by the end of the year, I am going to be an expert as far as up to date. Not I know everything, but I'm going to be 100% up to date. And I'm going to know what the guys know as much as I can pry out of them. Because these guys are experts. I don't care what anyone says. Crypto KEEF, WENDYS4TENDIES, Motley. Now, most of these guys are furus. Don't get me wrong. Not those guys, but the other. 90% of hexagons are absolute furus. Absolute furus. I don't bring furus on this channel. You will never, ever. Well, maybe if I haven't met someone and I want to meet them and I don't really have an example of them yet, I'll invite them on. But when I know people are sold out in that way, that's just not what I'm doing here, right? I don't care about marketing. Sell whatever you want. Do whatever you want. But I want guys that want to learn. Wendy's has been teaching me since the day I met him. Never once did he ask me about anything in my personal life. I was just I'm honest. I want help. Please help me. All that kind of vibe early on. And he was just cool, dude. Let's Telegram talk, chat, whatever. The whole time. And I didn't even know this dude had anything, but he was in behind the scenes wasting his time with him and Motley and me. And now I'm at this point because I was so inspired by the way they treated me. I was inspired by the way that they interacted with me for no reason. Because I understand incentive value. I'm a man. Nobody gives me shit around here. It's just me. But those guys said, you know what? I have value. This kid somehow has value. And he's being as honest as possible. That is the way to the better life, guys. You have to be transparent. You have to make sure anyone who walks into your life and says anything to you doesn't mean anything because I already told everyone. You know what I mean? There's nothing I'm hiding. I'm not doing anything sketchy, and I'm just asking people for help. Obviously, Opsec is another thing I'm working on. But just wanted to say that shit. We're going to continue talking about situational security. As far as moving, where do you guys stand? Let's say you live near all your family and friends. You just made a bunch of money. You've been online too much. You've exposed yourself. You have money. What are you moving? Is that part of your plan as far as because I don't know if you guys live in the same areas that you used to live or whatever, but if you were me, or if in a situation where you were new and trying to get your vibes about you, should I maybe just pick another spot and just keep this house, rent it out, and just fuck it?
Bro, you don't have to worry about shit until you actually make a lot of money. So
I know, but everyone already knows.
Let's have that problem when we get there, dude.
I know, but how fast is that?
My advice for Opsec was going to be, you have to treat it like a journey. You have to, there is no end point where you're suddenly like, I made it. I'm secure now. So the best time to start is immediately. Like, because if you have that attitude where you're like, I'll worry about it later when I need it, you want to take those steps, because every step that you take, you're bettering your Opsec. And then eventually one day you look back and you're like, my shit's actually pretty tight right now. Like, and they're just like little habits that you change about how you do things.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's why I said, like, initially that you got to, like, dip your toes in. But like to be like, oh, you're going to move when you have like 10,000 in crypto, that's a joke. Like, most of the people, like, think about it like this. There's doctors in every city that have millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? How often is it that, like, doctors get jacked and and lawyers get? It doesn't happen that often.
When do you
right?
become a? When does it become
it's
a
crimes
problem?
of opportunity.
When does it become?
I mean, think about it like this. Think about it like this. Most of the people, I told you before, the richest people in crypto are all doxxed. You can literally find their address. Like, Raul Paul's address is online. Okay, and he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire. Like, even top YouTubers that talk about having 8 and 9 figures, their addresses are doxed. Okay, so it's like everybody like, I think, over worries in crypto. And that's not to say you shouldn't take your security seriously. Like I talked about, there's levels to it. Take it seriously, but like, don't live your life in fear or anything like that, especially before you have anything. It's like, what are they gonna do?
I'm also a bit neurotic, you can imagine, because I didn't know security, and I actually got compromised. So like, my whole brain kind of lost function for a while, because I was just like, oh my God, maybe this is a thing where people just hack people, and like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, that's where I was at for like a week. I was like, oh my, like, I wouldn't even talk that much, because I was just
but there was like, if your security was a slice of cheese, it was Swiss cheese, because you had so many holes in everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
so
you know what I mean?
like,
That's why I got put in that position.
And that's why you're
like,
learning. That's why you're learning, right? You're sharing your experience so other people can learn and see. And if we can help prevent others from getting wrecked, then perfect, right? And so, like, yeah, it starts with your own personal OPSEC, right? With these hardware wallets and, having best practices and deploying these initial, like, safe skills. And then, when it comes time and now there's potentially millions of dollars in crypto, then maybe you start to rethink what your personal living situation is, where you're at, who you're interacting with, where you're going. Like, for me, especially these last 6, 7, 8 months now, like, dude, I have like been like avoiding certain situations entirely. Like, I don't go to these huge parades and these big parties in public areas. Like, I don't go hang out in bad areas. If I got a job or if I got something I got to go do, I get to that point, I go back and I'm done. I don't like linger around in extra places and waste time. And I don't try to put myself in a compromising position. So if you just kind of keep your head on a swivel, you constantly maintain situational awareness. You're always like, you're kind of on a swivel. You are looking over your shoulder a little bit, but you don't want to be ultra paranoid, but you're just, you got to be ready in the event that something happens. You've got your piece, you've got something strapped, you've got protection. You're not going out there like a cowboy trying to shoot up the Wild West, but you just kind of keep that situational awareness, understand where you are, where you're going, what you're saying, who you're saying things to. And ultimately,
if I were to get popular on here, it's like people. I don't think YouTubers are rich, and I just realized that too. Like, when I'm watching my favorite YouTubers,
some of them are. Some of them are super rich.
They got those referral links, bro.
Yeah, a lot of those, like, guys with the referral links. Some of them are worth like 9 figures now, because they're just constantly getting because they're getting fees on getting everyone wrecked. But let me tell you this. You could be doxxed in crypto worth, let's just say, 8 figures. I would be more worried wearing a solid gold Rolex into an urban, like a city like Cincinnati, New York, Philadelphia, Miami. I'd be more worried like wearing that to lunch or dinner, because a crime of opportunity is a lot more likely than like what you're talking about, right? And you see that, like, someone in the chat said, like somebody, a tourist visiting, like, that's the kind of stuff that's like, boom, because they're gonna like take that watch and then sell it on the black market. It's gone, right? Like the crypto stuff and everything like that. Like, it just doesn't happen that often.
Because I agree with like almost everything that you guys just dropped, but can I just give one subtle difference between like rich legacy and rich crypto? Like, someone mentioned, like, say, a rich doctor, that like a surgeon, they're wealthy, they live in a fancy house, whatever. There's a subtle difference that with crypto, people know that if they can, like, say, kidnap you and torture you until you give them your seed phrase, because it's a bearer instrument, they can take that shit and it's done. Whereas the doctor's assets are like real estate, money in a bank. Like, what are you going to do? Like, get him to gunpoint and march him into a bank and get him to withdraw his funds, or get him to, like,
most people,
like, there's
wrench
middlemen
attack,
involved that would, like, protect his shit from being able to be easily transferred. But with crypto, it's like one password and they just take all the shit.
There's literally millions of people in crypto, and there's been like probably like 5 wrench attacks in over a decade. So it's like it's literally like the parade of imaginary horribles that Richard talked about. It's
Agreed.
it's so minuscule. And then also, who's to say that you go and you want to wrench attack Jim Rat Crypto, and he learned, right, and his hardware wallet is in a bank vault somewhere. Like, there's no, just because yes, you could potentially access the crypto doesn't mean that it is available even for the person that you're wrench attacking. So people know that. So but like I said before, most people that get quote unquote hacked is because they gave away their seed phrases. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Or they were just clicking on crazy links.
The most likely attack vector is you effing your own S up, not someone else. Yeah. Like, as in you are the biggest threat to you losing your crypto.
Right, exactly. And that's why, like, if you say MetaMask on Twitter, right, there's like a million people, because they know that is the easiest way to get it, is to be like, sir, kindly send a DM.
Yes.
Yeah, and it sucks because unfortunately, like, dude, it's crazy because, like, there's people out there that are new, or maybe worse, they're not new and they just don't know, and they have these terrible habits, and they, click on weird websites, or they download fake MetaMask extensions. Like, I mean, dude, it's crazy. Like, there are if you don't go to metamask.io, and if you don't know that, you just Google MetaMask, and then something pops up and you think that's it, it's it might not be. You could be installing a fake MetaMask. The minute that has assets funded in it, they get fucking sent right out. There's also other scenarios where there's this like malicious software that'll change a number or letter in your public address. So if you're like copy and pasting from your computer and you're pasting it into your MetaMask to like send, it'll change one of the numbers without you knowing. And then you'll just send that crypto to another address. And you're like, what the hell did I even do? So again, take that extra second, make sure each letter, every time I do anything, especially fucking Hex, Pulse X, when we get airdropped that, but Hedron, Hex, my Hex stakes, I am looking at every single character. I don't care a shit how long it takes me to go through and zoom in and look. Okay, X395DDA4. Okay, perfect. And that's what the device is showing. That's what my screen's showing. Triple check, double check. Like, make sure that that's the correct address, and so you're not, you don't send it to the wrong address without even knowing, right?
The way I do it, which is slightly quicker than that, is if you just check a few characters at the start and at the end, because the way that these addresses are generated, it would be nearly impossible for a hacker to come up with something that is similar, that looks similar, because you know how we like elliptic curve, it's like if you change something slightly, it changes drastically. So typically, if you want to do it like quick, like obviously if it's a large amount, then check every character. But if it's like a lot less, you just check start and end, like maybe 3 or 4 characters at the start and the end, and usually that's enough.
What Wendy's was saying, and Crypto Keef, you were both mentioning this, and you had mentioned this, Tangent, as well. Thanks for coming on. That we're the biggest issue, and like this popped up in Telegram earlier today, where this guy, and he's got a Richard Mille, which is like several $100,000 watch, and he's like posting about it, and then probably in a club, and goes through and gets shot over it because he's like flaunting what he has. I think.
Well, exactly. And again, think about this for a second. Like Tangent was talking, like wrench attacks. Well, in America, as long as you're not in like a super liberal city, I keep my thing on me. It's like, if you fire at me, I'm gonna fire back, and I practice. So I'm gonna make your chest look like pizza, straight up, hot and ready. So come and get it. Come and see your boy.
Is that okay to clip? Is that okay to clip?
If you want to, I don't care.
Wait, I also have a question for all you guys.
Do I
have permission to clip stuff from you guys? Because I forget to ask you.
Dude, clip it up. Clip it up.
Right, cool.
Yeah. For me, that's a hard yes. Anytime you want, man.
Great, because I have.
That goes for everyone, by the way, and not just Jim Rat. I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would probably accept it if they really truly didn't think that it would be used somewhere else. They would be like, no, I'm actually good. I don't want to come out and talk, because they would know that there's the potential that somebody else is going to grab that shit and put it somewhere else.
True, but like if this channel had like 40K subs and we were like a year or two in the future, like I bet everyone's verbiage would be a little different.
I don't know about mine, but
yeah, no, yours wouldn't, but mine certainly would. I would try to just like round everything off a little better, you know, rather than being like, because I tell you guys, me and my girl broke up and shit, like, you know, like I ain't gonna be saying shit like that, you know, like I just. And I need to I was out this weekend and I got a little spooked when everyone was just like, you know, all my friends were kind of calling me by my name online, but none of them have crypto and they don't know anything about crypto. Like not one of them knows a thing about crypto. They're just like, oh, I see your pictures, right? Like I see your thumbnails, I see your stuff. Calling me Jim Crypto. And then I was realizing like I'm in a fucking bar in Baltimore. What am I doing? And
yes.
I just told everyone I was in Baltimore. But whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not
I've also doxed myself along the way, like, and then I'm just like, fuck it, whatever.
Come down here. You'll get mugged before you make it to my house.
You should see the 10,000 plus pieces of content. I guarantee, and I've done that many. Like even with my license plate on my vehicle, like it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that hard.
I'm so sloppy, dude. That's why I can't leave the desk. I cannot.
Do you know what the thing that messed me up the hardest? I didn't realize that when your Insta is linked to your Facebook, because I just did it for like ease of posting, so I can just post to both at the same time. It changes your Insta name to your full effing name, and then doesn't let you change it unless you unlink them. So I'd been punching out my Insta on crypto, but not my Facebook because it's got my real name, not realizing that my full name was on Insta, and then I was just like, whatever.
Jay Future was just talking about this last night when we were on Telegram, and he said that he was trying to do the same thing and trying to change his name from whatever it was to a pseudonym or something. And
yeah, you got to unlink. You got to unlink from Facebook, and then you can change it to a pseudonym again.
He just deleted all of his shit. He was like, I was like, fuck Facebook.
He just went extreme, computer out the window, like.
But you create content clearly, and I create content, so it's easier for him to do that than say us.
Tangent, why can't you make a thumbnail before the show like 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that.
I need you to start doing that.
Do you know
why? I will say this.
Do you know why the habit?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Tangent.
I was just going to say the only reason I didn't get into that habit is, you know how when your account is young, you can't do that. Like YouTube doesn't let you do it until you've like reached a certain status.
I only have 400 subs. I've done it from day one.
Really?
It never didn't let me do a stream pending thing. I get like
custom thumbnails. I thought custom thumbnails was like you had to reach some sort of status.
No, because when you go to StreamYard, what you do is
he's in another country. He's in another country, so it's possible. They have weird fucking.
You can use StreamYard in Aussie.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
It's no, the Aussies can use StreamYard. So what you do, listen to me real quick, and you'll already know everything. So you open up StreamYard. If you need to learn how to do this for OBS, but literally you can do it on StreamYard at any moment. You can pretend like OBS didn't exist and do one stream on StreamYard.
So you're doing it through StreamYard.
So open up StreamYard. It says schedule. It says schedule for tomorrow. I put 11 a.m. and then I just do my little thumbnail and I build it up and I stick it right there and then it goes right onto your YouTube pending for 11 a.m.
Nice.
Wendy's, go ahead and say what you were going to say, and then I actually have to run, but I wanted to hear what you were going to say, and I do appreciate everybody's information. I'm sure Jim Rat's going to be on here for a little while longer.
So when you make a lot of money, you got to start moving different, right? And so you're going to move in different social circles. You never want to have, I don't know if you ever heard the saying, you don't want to have the nicest house on the block, right? So like if you're from like a lower income area, you don't want to just like fix up that house and have the gleaming beacon on the block, right? That everybody's looking at you. If everybody in your subdivision drives low end Mazdas that are 20 years old and broken down Fords, do you want to pull up in a Maserati and park it in front of your house? Like that's a target, right? If you're let's say you have like $100,000 house, right? And you're now worth $10 million. Yeah, you're a target, right? Because as soon as you start like buying nicer things, you start moving the giant TVs in, you're a target because it's so obvious that you don't belong there anymore, right? If you take that $10 million and you buy a $2 million condo on South Beach, you blend in, right? You're just like everybody else. Everybody on South Beach is wearing $3,000 outfits, right? Like,
So hide in plain sight.
yes. So if I go to like my hometown and I go to the club and I'm wearing like Versace, Louis Vuitton, all that stuff, I literally stand out. Nobody has that there, right? And you know, like, so you just don't want to be that person that everybody's like looking at different. Like, yo, what's this guy doing? Like, why is he up? You know? And then people are like, you know, I was poor. I used to commit crimes and stuff like that. So I know how people think. And like, if I saw some dude like that, I'm like, yo, that's a lick. I'm about to come up, you know, like, because, you know, people are just trying to get some money. And so if you're looking like a lick, they're going to take it. So, you know, you just have to start moving different. Like, I don't operate with the same friends, you know, that I used to and stuff. And like, I talk about it before, but like, I still help my friends out and stuff. I still talk to them online, but I don't move with them no more. You know, one of my friends is doing time. I put money on his books and stuff like that. But like, I ain't ever hanging out with him. He knows that. Like, you know, like that part of our friendship is done. I can give him advice and stuff, but like, I'm not operating like that no more. Like, I'm on a different level. So, you know, you just have to level up in life.
Online, which is nice. Like, you could talk
exactly.
too.
Yeah, exactly. And I do. I still like keep in touch with these people, but I don't move with them no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be in a car with them. And you know, you have to like separate yourself, right? If they're doing something that's stupid, it could literally pull me down, right? And so like, you just at some point you got to move in a different circle. And it's like, yo, my friend group now, they all motivate me. Every one of my closest friends now is on the way to being a billionaire. It's not even, they don't even care about no M's. Like, they're talking about B's now, like it's billionaire. So it's like, I move different, I think different, and you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So just remember that, like, if you know, at some point you got to move up, right? You got to move up socially. You know, like, we're all here to like better our lives, better our families' lives and stuff like that. At some point you need to find new friend circles and stuff, and that's when you really start moving up and blessing up. So it's important to not just do the finances. Cool. Yeah.
It's happening to me right now. All my friends are in Telegram at night talking about just stuff that's like relevant and just like super good. Like, you know, like they're talking about.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
You're good. Like in the mornings I wake up at 6 and I try to co-host the talk space because that's the time they fall asleep and I wake up. So it's like a good little couple hours. You just ask questions to all these guys, anything, anyone, anywhere. I feel like I can't even speak to my friends anymore because it's like I just want to speak to these people that are thinking like I am.
Yeah, dude, I'm having a hard time like going out and hanging out with some of my friends in real life because like they just want to talk about the next, you know, bracket or next UFC fight, and that's all cool. Like, that's great. I'm just, it's not like this brain melting game theory, you know, that these guys famous, you know, Orca, Mad Hatter, you know, these guys just come in and we have these insane conversations. And then you got guys like Trap bringing in, you know, like crazy other unrelated to crypto things. It's just like, my friends aren't really talking about that, dude. So it's like hard for me to like try to go and like interact because I don't want to go and get drunk. I don't want to go get fucked up. Like, I want to like gain knowledge. I'm on this like quest for information and this like journey that I'm on. It's just like more exciting to be like sober and like in tune. And so like, that's one thing that this whole ecosystem and the community and everything has brought me is like, I have like I would rather hang out on a Friday night on a live stream or in Twitter Spaces than go out to a bar, get drunk, maybe drunk drive home because I don't want to pay for Uber because I'm an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've gravitated more towards this, and like, we're on the cutting edge, guys. Like, this is fucking like revolutionary, game changing, Richard Hart, Genesis financial software that's being built from the ground up. And like, if you sacrifice for Pulse Chain or Pulse X, like, you are getting like Genesis tokens that are, you know, one represents a brand new blockchain. I mean, imagine getting Genesis Ethereum right back in the day. Uniswap was airdropped to a lot of hexagons, which is awesome. I mean, Pulse X is nothing's like that. You know, nothing has ever been done like that. So it's a little different, but it's just like the focus with what we're doing is like, for me personally, it's hard to like go and interact with some of these other people I used to associate with. But yeah, I mean, to Wendy's point too, it's like, you know, we're all going to be part of this like upper echelon in the future, you know, when Pulse hits $1. I mean, dude, that's when Pulse goes to $1, when Pulse goes to $100. Like there's going to be, you know, like thousands more millionaires now added to this 1% of the, you know, the population. And it's like now our job to fix the world, because Richard's fixing the money. So we have to fix the world, right? And so because we got in early, because we had those mad gains, because we had the better game theory and the better pumpamentals and the tokenomics, like, and the use case for everything that we do, like it puts us in an upper echelon, an elite, you know, group of people in a cutting edge space where it's complete Wild West and there's no laws. It's just lawlessness everywhere. And so, you know, it's exciting. But you don't want to forget where you came from, kind of thing. Of course, it's
For
like,
sure.
I still plan on like, you know, hanging out with people I knew in the past. It's just, I don't know. It's hard. I agree with what Wendy's is saying. You know, you're going to have to start reevaluating what's important, you know, who you're interacting with, where you're going, what you're talking about. I don't even talk about crypto with my friends anymore, because it's like, they don't care. I already tried to shill them. They didn't listen, and they're going to market buy my bags in 6 to 12 months from now when Pulse Chain is the hottest shit out there. So,
no one wanted to listen to me until my lifestyle completely changed. When they started seeing like the jet setting and everything on Facebook, that's when it all started. It all started to change, and people said, "Okay, what do I got to do? You know, what's up with this Pulse?" And I'm like, "Yo, let's go. Let's sacrifice time." But before that, man, I was a multimillionaire and I was living the same damn life, bro. Like I wasn't going out to eat. I was a multimillionaire driving a Jetta. You know, so somebody earlier was like, "What did you buy?" Like, dude, I had multi-millions and I was living the same life. I think like the first like decently nice thing I did was like I had like a base level Jetta and I upgraded to an Audi, but I didn't buy anything like crazy. I had friends that were, you know, probably sub $100,000 net worth and they had nicer cars than me, you know. So it's, to me, that's not the motivation. Like the motivation's I'm talking about generational wealth. I'm trying to, and like I said, it's because of my friends, right? My friends, like they're literally looking at like they have billions in the grasp, right? So I'm like, I'm trying to get there. Like I'm not trying to like spend 300,000 on a Lambo because I need to use that 300,000 to catch up, right? It's like it's a friendly competition. You're always just trying to like get more. And at some point, I'm going to use that money to change the world, like Crypto Keef was saying. It's like, but yeah, I mean, small cruise, ocean views. You gotta change the lifestyle.
Wendy's, what you're already doing.
Timestamp 136.45 and 124.30. Keef rant, Wendy's rant.
Wendy's, you're already changing and the world, and that's what you're doing by sharing that information. But Jim Rat, what Wendy's was saying about the like changing the circle, that those, you know what I mean, you are the average of the people you spend the time with. Like I've moved all across the country many times over the last 10 years or so. That to me is far more valuable than the Opsec thing for you moving than anything else, other than changing, because you're ripping away those people. Like there was people that I would just literally just drink with, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. Like it's easier for me to move away than to be like, hey, no, I'm not, like, getting away from that physically separation, way easier. And now those people, like, I'm still like friends with them. Like, I'll, if they message me or whatever, I'll talk to them. I'm happy to help them and point them in the right direction. But now I'm around a different group of people, right? Like what Wendy's was saying, and that different group of people are going to challenge you to think differently. Because it's not like that somebody's $100 million, they're 100 million times smarter than you, or anything like that. They're just literally thinking differently. If you look at the highest IQ ever, it's like 270 or something, I think, recorded. So if you just say your average, so that's 100, 270, that's 2.5 times roughly smarter. That doesn't mean that they're going to make more money. It's so that the discrepancy is not in the intelligence from an IQ standpoint. The discrepancy is in the way we're thinking about things. And putting yourself around a new group of people is tremendously, like, from my personal experience over the last 10 years, so incredibly valuable to me. But I want to thank everybody for coming on. I actually have to run, but thank you for the information, Crypto Keef, on the MetaMask and all that kind of stuff, and the wisdom, Wendy, and the key example that you gave earlier in the address. That was super valuable. Tangent, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel and press live earlier. So thank you. I appreciate it. Jim Rat, we'll talk a little bit later today. And everybody in the comments.
Tangent goes live a little bit earlier than me, so if you're ever just sitting at your desk.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Peace, brother.
Yeah.
let me say hi to the chat real quick, guys. Really appreciate everyone being here, like always. This is my family. I don't have any, these are my peoples, and I love you guys. Steaks and apes. Thanks for being cool and telling everyone to subscribe. That's nice. Very, very nice of you guys. Sequoia, thanks for being awesome. She's always in the Telegram chat, chilling. Bullish, teaching me everything that I could ever know about security, the goat. I mean, the man right there. I don't know him personally. I just know like he teaches me stuff, and his name is Bullish. And whenever someone says Bullish in a conversation, I'm like, I always think they're describing the conversation. Like, I always think they're like, let's say Wendy says something, and then someone else says, "Oh, Bullish," and I'm like, "Oh, that's Bullish," and then they're like, "Oh, they're just talking to him." But guys, thank you. I mean, I'm not gonna go yet. This has been extraordinarily valuable to me, guys. I'm in a really vulnerable position, like not as far as like my Opsec, as far as like emotionally. It's like I got a lot of shit going on, and nothing crazy. Like no one's dead or nothing.
Can I shill something real quick on the Telegram issue? It's not
Yes,
really a
sir.
shill. It's more of an update. Just for everyone else out there listening, go into your Telegram settings. Go to privacy or security. I guess it's privacy and security. I'd do it with you, but I just recently downloaded the app. I deleted the app. I personally don't feel that.
I can show people and screen share it.
Yeah, if you could pull it up and go in. Or I guess, well, I don't want you to like, it might show your phone number on the screen.
Yeah, no, screw that.
I don't think you should do that. But if you go into your privacy and security, go in, you need to make sure you turn everything off. Do not let your phone number, no one can find your number. No one can see your number. No one can find you by it. Go into your settings, turn it all off. They just had a new update, I think, with the app. And like, I don't know, somehow like there was a new setting that was enabled and I just hadn't been up on it since months ago when Richard told us to go in and change our settings. That there's something flipped back over and now you're able to find someone by your, I don't know. Either way, I don't like it personally, so I deleted the app. I'll probably come back to it at some point, maybe with a different number. I just felt that I didn't like what was happening. I didn't like just a couple things without doxing myself, so I was getting phone number, I was getting calls I didn't like, so I deleted it. But go into your settings, update all the security settings. Don't let anyone see your number. Don't allow any messages. Don't allow any contacts. Just keep it, completely separate. If you have another phone number, like a Google Voice number or something, maybe try to hook it up to that so you're not actually using your personal phone number. But there are scammers in these Telegram rooms. They're going to get your number. They're going to try to take advantage of you. They may potentially be able to SIM swap you because they found your phone number. Now they're going to call AT&T and they're going to pose as you and they're going to get your phone number. And once they get your phone number, they can get your two-factor authentication. They get in your bank account, they get in your social media, they get in your Gmail, they can get everything. If they have your phone number, they can get in everything. So go call your AT&T, call your T-Mobile, whatever, tell customer support or get a manager on the line if you have to. Say, I need to put a PIN number on my account. Lock your account down with them. Do not let anyone change anything on your account without having that PIN number first verified. And if you do it, do like a 9-digit PIN if they allow you. Because a lot of people can crack a 4-digit PIN number these days with software, just brute force attacks. So go into your Telegram, change all your settings. Just
I'm going to clip that and make a nice little clip so we can send that around and have that because that's an important one. I actually learned that yesterday. I did all that yesterday for the first time.
Yeah,
and
it's bad.
It just hides your stuff from
same thing with Discord. If you guys are on Discord, same thing too. Like go into your settings and change all of those settings, lock it down because again, if we're talking about security, we're talking about OPSEC, like we don't know what we don't know, right? There could be curveballs that we never thought of before. We didn't even know we should think of. And until someone says it, or worst case, you get fucking hacked or you get SIM swapped or you get taken advantage of somehow. And, then, now I just learned because I got hacked this way, right? Like if we can help you prevent that, then that's what the conversation is about today. So I just wanted to shill everyone on the whole security with Telegram thing and Discord. I think my personal opinion is I think they're both compromised. Signal's compromised. WhatsApp's compromised. I don't trust any of it. I think you're better off actually having a conversation with a friend over the phone. Like if you're talking about certain things you don't want to talk about in public, but you can't go meet them in public, like have a conversation on the phone. Just try to take those extra steps you can to not put yourself out there, right, and expose yourself.
There's an app I use called My Sudo, and sudo, I think it's misspelled. It's like SUDO. It's like phonetic rather than the actual way you would spell it. And it gives you the ability to create profiles with like mobile phone number aliases. And in fact, if you're in the States, it also lets you do credit card aliasing. So like you're putting in a credit card number that actually routes and charges your real credit card. But if anyone... Do you get what I'm saying? So you can do email aliasing, phone aliasing, and credit card aliasing. But I think that credit card shit's only for the US. I can't do it where I am. And then that means that if anything ever gets like leaked, data breach of some company that you've given them your details, you can actually switch those aliases off and then just make a new one that routes back to your real shit. So it just masks all your real phone number, your real email, and your real credit cards never get out in the wild, Yeah. Very powerful stuff.
My Sudo. You trust it? How long has it been around?
My Sudo. Well, I was using a free account for ages, and then I've just started paying for it.
Sudo.
It's if you're not using it for the credit card one, then because I don't actually give my real phone number to my Sudo. It's just so that you get what I'm saying. It comes, any calls or messages, they come through the app. So you're not actually really trusting them with, like, I think with the credit card one, maybe you might have to give them your credit card details for it to work. I'm not sure. But with the phone and the email, you're not really trusting them at all. It just works.
What do you guys think about, okay, this could be totally stupid and off topic, and I don't want to say everything like completely dumb, but like, I don't know about this technology yet, but I was looking up the websites. What these Raspberry Pi thingies? I've been learning about them.
What about them?
I've been learning about them as of yesterday, right? That's what I learned about yesterday, and I was looking up. So basically, what I'm aware of, Wendy's, it sounds like you probably know about this stuff. If you have several properties, you can actually like put these in different areas and earn active income long term in some like hotspot.
I mean, like. A Raspberry Pi is just like a mini computer, basically.
Yeah, it's just basic, like a really basic computer.
Yeah, so you can like run nodes and stuff on it. I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can do with them, but yeah.
And you can earn crypto just by like using them in some way. I'm not saying this is something I'm like
depending on the crypto, I guess. Are you talking about that one, like that mesh networky one?
There's two I learned about. I can't remember.
There's the one that has the radio signals. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's one.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Starts with an A.
Hey, put it in the comments if this is not information. This is all free and fair information, right, guys? If anyone knows what I'm talking about, I know a couple people in here.
Where would you order a Raspberry Pi?
Video. Oh, how to head up a Trezor. Oh, okay. If anyone has a question about setting up a Trezor, real quick, if you're in the comments, no idea what a Trezor is, seems like Bullish has a video on that. So, and I talked to him last night. He's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, like you can use Raspberry Pis for heaps of different shit. Like I've got one. I loaded an OS called RetroPie, and it lets you play like any old school computer game from all the real old gen consoles, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and stuff like that. It's like all those games, even arcade games from around that era.
Emulators are so cool.
So it's like, yeah, it basically emulates all of those different consoles and arcade games. Some people use them like for opening and shutting their garage, like audio systems, like you make your own Sonos. Like there's so many different applications, like so many different things you can do with them. From a crypto point of view, I actually do run a
That's
Bitcoin
what it's called,
node.
Helium.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. I think that's the one I was thinking of too.
And like, you have other properties that said you can kind of like set them up at different properties because like I'm not going to say
you could
because you earn more if you've got like a diverse range of like geolocation.
And if you're in the middle of nowhere, they're better. I heard.
I just remember Belina talking about him saying that he was got like a high range antenna, and so you would want to live in a highly populated area where other people have the shit as well.
But
so if
I
did it, I would earn
that when other people have them, you collect less.
No. I think more. Like the more well connected your node is.
I think it has something to do with like, okay, certain areas pay more. Like if you're in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, like there's not a lot of people there, right? So like there's not a lot of need. But like let's say you're like in the East Village and there's not a lot of there's a ton of people there, but not a lot of service there. Then I think you would make like more per se, something like that. But I think if you had like 10 nodes on your block, you wouldn't necessarily make as much or something.
I'm gonna pull up the
okay. So
chart that
there's
shows you.
There's probably like a
is and how much
supply and
they're using.
demand. There's probably a supply and demand aspect to it. So you'd want to be in an area where there's like a high demand and enough nodes to have good connectivity, but not so many nodes that it becomes high competition.
And you can look on the website
something like that.
pull it up.
But again, you got to ask yourself, like, is this thing going to be around? You're paying. Yeah. Look, there's something real with opportunity cost, and like if you just go after every little like that whole idea is like it's literally marketed to you because you're thinking like, oh, passive income. But the same thing is with Hex. So like, why wouldn't you just buy Hex at an 80% discount? You already know that it has like no externalities. There's no fees with running it. You don't have to pay any hardware to set it up. You don't have to maintain it. Like it's, you know, so you have to really think about, you know, stuff like that. The only other thing I would consider would be like maybe like a node per service thing if you got in early, because those things are basically like Ponzi's, right? So like something like, you know, Strong or something. If you were to get in early on something like that, you know, when the price is extremely low, it just launched, and you can just compound nodes for a while and then basically have a bunch of nodes and just earn passive income. That would be something maybe I would consider. But like these things where you got to get like a piece of hardware, and it's probably not going to survive, bro. And I really believe that your money would be better spent just like either sitting in cash waiting for Pulse Chain to come out and PulseX to come out, or buying the Hex dip and staking it out. I mean, how do you beat like 38% APY?
You can't.
You know, with the community that we have, it's not going anywhere, dude. Like people are locked in for 15.2 years. I'd be willing to bet that this coin is not going to last half that long. So you just have to, you know, everyone would. Do you remember like back in the day, everyone was like mining electronium. It was like cheap to mine and everything. Dead. So
this is so valuable, guys. Such valuable.
This has been in long enough to see it all. You know,
this is more valuable than anything, guys, because he's giving you the perspective as far as like opportunity cost is like the thing he preaches pretty much. Like that's kind of where he's at. Like he's like, you could be doing this, or you could just be working and you would have 5x'd it. That's kind of where Wendy's is at, and it makes 100% million good sense for sure.
I agree so much with what Tendies is saying for the like longevity of projects. I will though say that I like the mission statement of that particular project is they're trying to incentivize mesh networks, which would protect us from government overreach trying to shut down the internet. So I also think that project probably won't be the one to do it. And then your coins, if you hold them, will be virtually worthless maybe. But some of these things, like it's worth, like, I'm glad someone's trying to do that particular mission, and hopefully
I think it's a cool idea.
Point, yeah. And because if we can get mesh networks for power and internet, then we're unstoppable. Then we are unstoppable. Then there is no internet kill switch. There is no, like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. No, absolutely. The only thing I'm saying is that I guess like in where we are right now, it doesn't make sense to me, because I think that for most people, it'd be much better to buy 80% discount on Hex, or to wait for Pulse Chain and PulseX. Once those things are doing numbers and they're at all-time high, then getting like this node thing for like $400 or however much it is, like, it's no big deal, right? You already made like 100x, 1000x, 10,000x. Like, sure,
And then you can do it for the love. Like you do it with no attempt to make profit.
Right. Just because it's interesting. Yep.
That's like, I run a Bitcoin node and it makes me $0, and I do it just to support the network. Like, as in,
exactly.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And I personally think that we, like, as a community, once Pulse Chain comes out, we got to get as many people to like host nodes as possible. I mean, I'm truthfully, every hexagon should host a node. Truthfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I will
because that is going to be huge bragging. That's going to be huge
and
bragging
that won't be
factors
expensive.
if we literally have. No, it's not. It costs like almost nothing. So
if
you go to
the he's not talking about running a validator. He's talking about just running a node.
But what the fuck does that mean?
So think about nodes as like they're like little accountants. They're like little counting systems that go and check all the work of the validator.
Yeah, you're like validating each other, like all the nodes validate.
It's basically
exactly.
It's more decentralization.
It's for transaction validation, not for security and transaction batching. Like it's not. They're not forming the blocks. They're just helping to
you're not getting
propagating the
like
blocks.
that.
Yeah, so propagating transactions and validating transaction only.
If it helps for me doing that, I want to do it.
And in fact,
it does.
there's a benefit to you, and when I say you, any viewer, anyone within the network, there is an advantage to running your own node. It means that you can then validate transactions and you can check without having to rely on an external source. So you don't have to trust anyone to know whether you've been paid or whether a transaction has gone through. And it also means you're not publicizing when you make a search. Like when you search your own node, no one knows about it. Whereas when you search like a public database of that information, people can see your IP looking at certain addresses and looking at certain transactions. And so you're leaking information because people can make assumptions, right? You're not going to look at addresses that don't have anything to do with you generally. So people can make assumptions. And so there's a security leak when you're using these third-party websites to look at transaction information. Whereas if you have your own node, it's private. It's like you've got your own, database that you can look up.
You're not going out there for anything. You just go.
Yeah, you've got a local copy. You've got a local copy of the blockchain database.
God, this is so like, why is no one speaking about these things?
Oh, I mean, the Bitcoin community does talk about this sort of stuff.
No, I know, but like I
was gonna do a strong push for it once Pulse Chain actually comes out, but right now it's we're not there yet, but it's something good to talk about. Yeah.
I forgot because Bitcoin's a whole network, right? I wasn't even thinking. I was just thinking wasn't thinking. So yeah, Pulse Chain's just the first opportunity for us to do that for the network that we love.
Exactly.
Yes. So with Hex, you would have, if you'd been wanting to do it for Hex, you would have been hosting an Ethereum node.
Roger.
Get what I'm saying?
God, this is so good. I feel dopamine rushing through my system because
Tangent on the nodes, you don't earn any yield by hosting a node, right?
No.
You actually have to be a validator to earn the yield, or you can delegate with a validator.
Oh, are we talking about Pulse or Bitcoin?
Pulse chain nodes.
Pulse. No.
You don't earn any yield, right?
No, nodes will be no yield.
I just want to make sure everyone was clear. Yeah.
That's the same with Bitcoin, unless you're running a Lightning node. If you're running a Lightning node, then you can start to earn.
But the fees are still probably
tiny,
pretty minuscule.
Tiny. So it's all for the love. All that stuff's for the love. And even so, you could even argue that Pulse validating nodes initially will also be pretty much for the love, because remember that at the start the fees are going to be very low. So guys like David Feeder and others that are running nodes, even Richard himself, it's not going to be a massively profitable exercise. It could even run at a loss.
No, it's going to run at a loss. It's going to
almost you're right. Almost certainly run at a loss at the start.
Well, he was saying something about the Amazon Web Service bill is really expensive.
A small a regular server, they're probably going to operate at like a $2,000 to $4,000 loss a month, and I would anticipate that for at least 2 years.
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see from there. But I would anticipate they're going to lose money for at least 2 years. And if we can, but like all these things, right? Like everybody hosting it, like if every hexagent gets a node, that's more bragging rights for the network. It's going to be more, stuff to talk about. It's going to help onboard people. Like the more people that we can get on board, trading on PulseX, buying coins, staking and delegating, like the better it is for the network. And eventually the transactions will start actually producing like real value. And that's when the validators will be in profit at that point. So, but yeah, it's a labor of love for a while.
Yeah. Have you guys picked out anyone in particular? Or are you still researching validators and just seeing like who's doing what?
Well, I'm going to be on
I know that's like private info.
No. I'm going to be on Team Feeder for sure.
Feeder, I've been looking at Feeder. I know, obviously, Crypto Coffee's doing his whole like 95% rev share, but guys, it's like you don't necessarily want to think about who has the highest revenue share in terms of like sharing the Pulse fees that are earned, through the validator. It's more so about like who has less misdemeanors and felonies, like who is like being like the top of the top in terms of, creating, verifying each block at the right time with the right, transaction hash, like making sure that like they're on their shit. You want to go with like the validator that maybe they're not sharing as much revenue, but maybe they're doing the best job keeping the network up, right? And you don't have to go all with one validator either. You can go with multiple validators, and so the thing with delegating your Pulse, is staking your Pulse, is that your Pulse never leaves your wallet. So just make sure everyone knows that when you delegate your Pulse to a validator, you're not actually your Pulse tokens are not leaving your wallet. So if that validator goes down, and let's just say they disappear, they go offline, the only thing you lose is whatever fees you would have earned from, staking or delegating to that validator. So you're not actually at any risk. Like with Ethereum, like staking, it's fucked because you go in, you send your Ethereum, and it's locked up. You're never getting that back. And like, it's terrible. Some of the folks that are doing this with Coinbase, like my buddy showed me, he's got like seven grand in ETH just locked up. And when he goes in to look at his stakes, it's literally a checklist items of, hey, we'll let you know you're getting your 4.5% annually. We'll let you know when this is ready. And it's just like, holy shit. Like if you wanted to like access that Ethereum, you can't. It's gone. It's literally locked up. You cannot get it back. It's like fucked up.
Yeah. F that noise, man. F that
that's
noise.
Totally different with Pulse Chain. That all goes away because your Pulse never leaves your wallet. The validator just has a read-only access to your address, so they don't get your private keys. They don't get your coins. It's just simply a read-only view, like a read-only option, and it, that's where it ends. So you don't have that much risk, and you're not locked into any time agreement. You don't have to go and stake your Pulse for a year. You can stake and unstake, as you go and please every day. So just something else to kind of think about.
I want to ask you a question, guys. Fuck me. I just Bullish says Hexagon's hosting a low-cost 5V node is nothing. So that's good to know if anyone wants to nerd out on some of that stuff. Guys, I had a question yesterday, and I don't think if it was answered all the way. And everyone kind of laughed at me for saying it, but then no one answered it properly. So I was kind of like, maybe that was a good question. Does Ethereum have 100% uptime?
I mean, it's.
I don't remember ever a time that it was down.
Same.
Now, what, in your opinion, guys, does 100% uptime really mean to you?
Maybe.
Everyone, trust me, a few smart people have different thoughts on it, but they're very close.
I would say 100% uptime means that you can use it. Like uptime means like open for business. You can use it. If right. Like, for example, the Pulse chain went down yesterday, right? That's not uptime. That's downtime, right? It was down for hours. That means you can't transact, you can't use it. We've seen that with Solana, seen it with EOS, we've seen it with IOTA. That's not 100% uptime. I don't know if Matic has had downtime or not, and I don't know about BSC, but yeah, it just means that like you can log in and you can do stuff, right? That's pretty much it, right?
It's not gonna lag or
like,
stuff.
Well, like, okay, so so sometimes like a blockchain can lag and can have like, it can be basically unusable in the sense that like, the fees are so much or whatever, but that's still uptime because like in the case where like Ethereum transactions were $800, if I came and I was like, I need to move my money now, I would go there and I'd have to pay $800, but at least I could move my money versus like if a blockchain's down and you need your money, you're screwed. You got to wait until it's up.
That's a great point. So Ethereum's like shitty, but at the same time, they're really not because like if you have to move your cash, like anyone $800 if you really had to move it because what else?
And then what do you care if you're moving millions, right?
For sure.
Even when the gas fees were ridiculously high, I've never not hit fast.
Yeah, I mean you're the fucking
ETH Flex.
Alpha ETH Flex, Chad.
That's funny because I heard Richard say the same thing. He's like, it's always worth it. And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, I mean, if you have money, but if you don't have Ether, you're not making ETH or income, like you can't just
even on a small scale like mine though, like if you poke around at the ETH price for a day or two, it's always not that it's disgusting. Don't get me wrong. Overall, like I should not be paying that money overall, but like I'm gonna pay $20 to stake hex all day long, every single day. No problem, zero problem.
Do you know how I mitigated like the painful feeling of real stupid fees? I was running a bunch of GPU miners mining ETH. So when the fees were high, I was making more ETH, and when they're low, so I'd be like, okay, this is a bitch, but I'm also printing it harder right now anyway. So it's like, and I found it pretty much was actually off by complete coincidence. I was pretty much offsetting my ETH usage, my own gas usage, with what I was mining for a pretty significant period.
The question that people were really hitting me with, or like hitting each other in my comments with back and forth, was Ethereum. They were saying Ethereum does not have 100% uptime for whatever reason. I don't know.
Oh, it's possible. It's possible. Like as in,
therefore, they were saying that technically Hex can't have 100% uptime because if ETH was down for any
where
was
the example where ETH was down? Since Hex
I don't know. I gotta
don't-
look at it, and
also for them to make that comment means that downtime for ETH had to have occurred within the last 2 and a bit years. They can't point to some downtime, like say it was when like ETH Classic fork may have had some downtime, like as in at the fork maybe, but that predated Hex. Everything that predates Hex doesn't count for Hex's uptime. Maybe they're saying theoretically, if ETH went down, then Hex would be down.
I think so. I think maybe there was a little bit of like a nuance, like yes, technically this could occur, but when you said uptime, all he's saying is that so far there's 100% uptime.
And also soon we're gonna have Pulse. So then ETH downtime, who gives a shit? Like, you know what I mean?
Pulse is so fucking mind-bendingly sick, nasty.
So sick.
It's
so
disgusting. Sick. The more you learn, the more you're just like, yay, life is cool. And everyone is gonna, not like money-wise, like I just like it. I don't know anything about having money, guys. I really don't. Like that's the honest truth. I ain't never had money before, ever. And to this day, when I say that, I could buy a house for like 4% down. Like to me, that's not money. Like you know what I mean? Like I could make a couple $1,000.
No, that's a debt trap. That's what that is.
Well, is it though? My house went up $180,000 in 2 years.
Holy shit!
I never did
Holy
one
shit.
thing. Never even mowed the grass hardly. Like I just was like, just a lazy gym rat, kind of doing my fucking gym rat routine. Neighbors are like a little overgrown, but I'm kind of like, fuck you, like just a little bit. But now I have a lawn service and everything now, so it looks better. But when I got it reappraised, it was like I was in shock. I was like, there's no fucking way this is true. I was like, there's no way. And then people were like, some people in Hex will say, dump the crib. They'll look you dead in the face and tell you to dump the crib. But then like guys like Wendy's are like, dude, don't dump
They're chucking a sailor, man. They're chucking a sailor.
But I don't have a job, so I can't take the money out against it. Well, some people say I can. So I'm just going to keep it and rent it out because it's rented out 100%. Like I don't pay $1 to live here. So like that's kind of where I'm at too, guys. Like I'm monk mode right now. Like I'm monk mode as fuck. Like I'm spending $800 a month and that's it.
I have to admit, as a Bitcoin enthusiast, it's really painful when I hear Richard say things against Bitcoin that are true, like that are actually accurate, like accurate criticisms of Bitcoin. Because while I don't agree with all of his criticisms of Bitcoin, the one about it being ultimately a socially like a social consensus is true, which is slightly devastating. Like it's not quite that simple because it would need to be a consensus among multiple parties that there's game theoretical elements. It's not just like when Richard says it, he makes it sound like it's like a group of like 4 or 5 people or even a larger group that can just all agree and then just change shit. But it doesn't work like that because like the users, the miners, the merchants, they all have like their own like incentive structures and things, ways that they want it to be. So there needs to be consensus among multiple parties with a variety of interests and that sort of thing. So it's not quite that simple, but ultimately he is correct, which is quite scary for, I guess, crypto in general.
Once like when I started buying Bitcoin, I was under the assumption like there was going to be, real upgrades and stuff like that. And then like when 2017 rolled around and the SegWit bullshit and BCH and all this shit, That's
Yeah.
when I basically gave up and I was like, Bitcoin's done. Like it's just like common sense upgrades like would not go through, and just how toxic the community is, and as far as like the over regulation of like the forums is, you can't even have like a good discussion about stuff. It's like if
That's
you
so
say
interesting
anything
that you
like
say that, because Salas, like Michael Salas, said the exact opposite. He said it was those fork wars that gave him the confidence to invest, like to
the
basically
guy's
go
a
all
noob.
in.
He's a noob.
Yeah,
He really is.
Even I
I
would
mean,
say that.
technically, like in the technical sense, you are correct though. He is new. He is new to crypto, like as in he is a noob by the most literal definition of the term. So you are right.
He's just shilling. He's not learning. He's just fucking shilling, dude. He's not. Come on, dude. He's
Dude,
not
just because you
waking up
have
at
like,
3 and
I
ripping
mean,
the
think about
book,
it.
dude.
Bill Gates could like literally start, or like Jeff Bezos could start buying ETH, and ETH would flip Bitcoin, and then they could be like, ha ha ha, like get wrecked, son. Like
I
just
mean, they
because
could
you
do it,
have
but yeah,
money
they could do
doesn't
it with
mean that
any
you're.
coin, really.
Yeah, it's true. But just because you have money doesn't mean like your coin is better. Or, it's like, yeah, if like there's no reason why, like truthfully, like proof of stake is a safer thing in the long term. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like as far as like like with countries being attacked, if you ever want to listen to like an extremely good super high level argument, look for the Bankless podcast with Hasu, who's a lead Ethereum researcher, and he explains how like countries could attack Bitcoin versus what like the maximum damage that they could do to Bitcoin versus the maximum damage that they could do to Ethereum once it's full proof of stake. And it's like, it's really eye opening. It's like, no matter what, like, okay, so they could 51% attack Bitcoin, and you can do that with Ethereum as well, even under proof of stake. But you can essentially do it unlimited times with Bitcoin versus like with proof of stake with the slashing and everything like that. It's not feasible more than I think like 2 times or something like that. So
What was the name of that video again? I want to see it. What was it called?
it's the guy's name is HASU, and he's like a top Ethereum researcher, and he does like he does a lot of research and stuff. And it's like they're I think like 1 or 2 hour long podcast. I can't remember which one it's in, but it's in one of those. And either way, if you just listen to those whole things, it's like very nerdy about like advanced things about DeFi and Ethereum and stuff. It's just a good listen. But yeah, it's a couple hours. You could probably listen on it like 1.5.
The 4-week NBA. No,
It's on Bankless, but yeah.
Oh, Bankless. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just
Bankless
Google that.
podcast.
I've got enough search terms now that I should be able to find it.
Yep, it's on YouTube. Like Google or YouTube Bankless HASU. It should be one of those episodes. But yeah, it was good. I was like working out while I was listening to it, and I was like, man, that is crazy. But yeah, like Bitcoiners are never going to admit that, And the funny thing is like a lot of Ethereum. The cool thing about like crypto is like when you go down the list, right? So it's like every Ethereum was a Bitcoiner, right? And every like Pulse chain person for the most part was an Ethereum, right? So it's like we're moving down the list. So it's like we're open to stuff, right? Like a lot of us are like, yeah, like if Bitcoin improved, it, did some stuff, maybe it was like proof of stake and like the miners weren't having to dump, like we'd be more open to it because we all held it at one point, right? We're more inclusive, whereas like the upper ladder, like Bitcoiners who never moved to anything else, they're 100% closed off. They're just like they're in their cabin in the woods with the door closed. And they don't want to hear anything from the outside world.
But the counter argument to that would be that the people that moved on was not necessarily because they were more open-minded and more, moving to greener pastures, like seeing a better quality product. It could have purely been the thing that Richard says, that new projects have just got more upside potential and people were just chasing gains, not necessarily technological improvements.
That's true. That's definitely true. I mean, in my case, I was more interested in like, the world computer and everything. Of course, it, I mean, I guess when I got into, the money was definitely interesting and stuff like that. But like even back then, Bitcoin had crazy gains. So, you know what I mean? So like Bitcoin's doing like crazy X's. Now it's completely different. So Yeah, I guess now you're probably right. Like people are going to chase more X's and stuff like that. But I think like, especially back then with the core Ethereum community, I mean, remember Vitalik used to write articles about Bitcoin and stuff.
Yeah,
He
true.
wanted to build Ethereum on Bitcoin. So I think especially like the early Ethereans, they were very open to Bitcoin. So it's not like, a lot of us like want to attack Bitcoin or anything like that. It's just we wish things were potentially different. There's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say before when you were talking about upgrades and stuff like that, Taproot went through as a non-contentious upgrade to Bitcoin, which improved,
Right.
I think, improved privacy a little bit and improved, I think, transaction speed maybe a bit, like block efficiency or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess like often when I hear criticisms of Bitcoin, I think to myself, how would the main maxis, how would the main Bitcoin proponents answer this or counter this argument? And I think their main point with, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but their main point for like the lack of upgrades is the emphasis on not doing the opposite of the move fast and break things, because obviously there's so much value in the asset class. But then Richard's counter to that is actually really good, where he said, they still if that's the reason, they're still having F-ups that you shouldn't have if you're
exactly. But even like, okay, so like the way Ethereum handled it, right? Like Ethereum has proof of stake right now, right? Is that on Ethereum? No, it's a separate chain. It's the beacon chain. It's literally like a parallel chain. So like Bitcoin could do stuff like that where they set up a parallel chain that's going to be proof of stake. Like there's ways to do it. It's just that no one even wants to talk about it. No one even wants to
protect the integrity of the main chain while still being innovative. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. There's things that could be talked about, but you can't even talk about it. Like if you're a high level like Bitcoin guy, if you brought that up, you'd be crucified. So I mean, and even
that's actually a very, very good point. That there's a lot of innovation has come out that has allowed for that sort of thing, or even just test nets, even just test nets where you could just go do wild shit for periods of time, and then if it doesn't have issues, then just merge it in.
When you first heard about EIP 1559, like what was your reaction? What did you think?
At the time, I was still very much proof of work, believing in proof of work and not in proof of stake. So, and I don't know.
Well, the EIP 1559 still works under proof of work. It's just the burn of the transactions or whatever. So, like to me, when I heard that, I was like, okay, we're hardening ETH as money. That so then the whole like hashtag like ETH is money started circulating around and stuff. Like if Bitcoin is hard money, like ETH is harder money. And I was like, this is a no-brainer. Like, why would anybody oppose this? But I was literally in all the dev calls, like listening to everything, listening to the talks between the top mining companies and the core devs and stuff. And it was like, man, there was a lot of hostility. And even some of the miners threatened to fork ETH, over this. But now in hindsight, literally it's been less than a year and 2 million ETH has been burned. Like, how is that not a good thing for Ethereum, right? For everybody, for the miners, for the holders, like everybody wins. But even that was like kind of contentious, so it's like, it's really hard sometimes. And that's why I think like Bitcoin's kind of doomed, because it's like, even Ethereum has had a hard time, and it's been on the roadmap to like do upgrades, and sometimes it's still very, very difficult.
But I guess like just being more deflationary doesn't necessarily make it a better money, right? Like in some cases, the simplicity of having something that doesn't have as many features. So like, because obviously being a smart contract platform, ETH is like much more flexible than Bitcoin, and some would see that as being like a problem for if you want sound money. You don't want a feature set. You don't want it to do fancy stuff at the risk of like bugs and other, So
I can get that, but Ethereum's never had an inflation bug. Bitcoin has had two. And the
That's
other
true.
thing is that like, so if you're going to say, well, like deflationary, well, think about it like this. Bitcoin is lesser inflationary until we're dead. And that's what makes it quote unquote hard money. So if by that logic, then going deflationary or at least cutting issuance by such a large amount based on usage should make it harder money, because that's literally the argument that Bitcoiners have. Well, it's only got 21 million. Well, eventually, if Ethereum is deflationary enough, it'll get to 21 million, but then it'll go under 21 million. You know, so it's like, okay, well, where's the argument there?
Yeah,
And
I have a question about that too.
Yeah,
after
yeah,
you're
yeah.
done. I have a big question
Mhm.
about that because as
Sure.
someone who's a little like I've always heard that, right? Like, you know, you just hear that, but no one really explains exactly. And then there's always people that are like, "Is Bitcoin inflationary?" And then I'm like, "Wait, is it fuck or is it not?" I don't understand. But like,
It's
what is that concept where
disinflationary.
people always say that?
It
Okay.
inflates, but the inflation rate, it's the inflation rate that declines. So it actually
Over time.
does inflate, but it's the amount of inflation over time goes down.
When you wake up tomorrow, there will be more Bitcoins in existence than there was today. That's what it comes down to. Now,
Yeah.
again, like you said, every halving, the issuance gets cut in half. So, you know, where it was at 1.50 Bitcoins a block, it went down to 25, and then it went down to 12 and a half, and, you know, and so on and so on. So,
And
you know,
it's
that's what
something,
it is,
it's
but it
something
is
that
inflation.
a lot of people get wrong. Like I've heard of some big names in crypto in public interviews saying that Bitcoin is deflationary. And I'm like, how does this person not know this? Like that this is
Yeah, even
not-
I've always wondered about that.
it's a common misunderstanding of Bitcoin.
People don't pay attention; they just listen.
So
do you know what
it
the
has
inflation
fixed
is right now in
monetary.
Bitcoin?
It has fixed monetary policy. I'm pretty sure we're on 6.25 now. You were right. It went 12 and a half,
Yes,
and then now.
but like
now
percent
we're
wise,
6.
do you know what it is percent wise?
Oh,
I
well, I
believe
mean, like,
I believe it's 1.82, something like that. Do you know what Hex's inflation is right now?
3.69.
Nope.
3.69.
That's not
I
true.
learned this very recently.
That's
3.69
not
is the
true.
maximum rate.
That's the
If
cap. That's the
everyone
cap.
is, that's the
Inflation.
max.
The
If
actual
everyone is
the actual inflation right now is 1.7. So it's actually less than Bitcoin's, which is comical because most people don't know that. Even hexagons, like probably like 90%, well,
I
probably
would
more.
say
Well,
most
what the
people.
actual
I
inflation
didn't know
versus
that.
cap
I didn't
is,
know
right,
that. I also thought it was 3.69.
Well, the cap. That's the
regardless.
cap. That's the system
That's the
code
cap.
is capped at 3.69 in terms of how.
Right, because most
the
people
code
are
can't go
deferring
rampant.
inflation. Right.
Yeah.
So a portion of the 3.69% is delayed into the future. When you account for EESs and people ending stakes daily, it's 1.7, which is super bullish. But again, you know, like people don't like look at these kind of things, and it's funny because people, you know, like Eric Wall saying like, oh, it's an inflationary shitcoin. Well, it's like, dude, your inflationary shitcoin is actually inflating more than Hex is right now, which is comical. But
And
you know,
no one
again, he
wants to
doesn't know
look up anything, fucking tendies. No one cares. It's all fucking bullshit. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Everyone's lying except for like 6 guys. Literally, there's like a couple dudes on the internet that are not getting paid by anyone and they're telling the truth. Everyone else is lying. Or they just don't give a fuck and they want Bitcoin to go up, so that's their new shtick.
Well, some people just LARP, you know, it's the internet. So,
But like Pomp, I always bring up Pomp. Pomp, if you ever watch this shit, I remember watching you when you were fucking doing honest content, and it was amazing. The experience I had watching you with my coffee in the morning with your girlfriend while you talked about the newest stuff in Bitcoin, while I didn't know anything, and it was very geopolitical. It was interesting. I was like totally with them. Like the couple, I loved them talking. Once he got that BitConnect link, or it wasn't BlockFi link, everything changed. The day he started posting that BlockFi shit, and
he became like a total like influencer, like scrub, just like posting like bullshit. The funny thing about Pomp was like Pomp was actually like big into Ethereum before Bitcoin, and then he held that dip that I talk about like constantly when I talk about, you know, like bear markets and stuff. And he basically sold the bottom of like the 95% retrace. And, you know, Bitcoin had a much less retrace. It's a bigger coin and stuff. It's been alive longer. And after that, he basically was like, no, Bitcoin is the way. So it's kind of funny because it's like the ratio went down to, I think, 0.017, and so now it's like 6 or 7x that. So if he would have held Ethereum, he would have been much, much, much more wealthy, like magnitudes more wealthy if he would have just held Ethereum. But he literally swapped it over to Bitcoin at the worst moment. And this is the kind of guy that's giving you advice on crypto, like wrecked pleb.
And the guys that literally don't need money, guys, I preach this on this channel like crazy. I will scream it to the rooftop. I don't care about people that have businesses, guys. That's stupid to say. Everyone fucking works, you dumb fucks. Everyone works. We all need money. Like, what the fuck? But it's not that. When someone's paying you, where is the money going? Who is paying me to say what? No one. Who is paying Wendy's to say what? No one. Who is paying Tangent? I guarantee no one.
No one.
You know what I mean? And same with fucking crypto. I mean, whether or not you have a job or not, you know what I mean when it comes to the content, right? Like, we're coming on here because it's fun, and like literally this makes me feel high when I talk to you guys because I'm so happy.
I like, there's things that I don't mind. Like, okay, I like capitalism. I don't mind that like people, you know, support brands or products or whatever. I just think that number one, they should disclose them, and number two, they should only support brands or products of things that they actually use.
Genuinely believe in. Yeah,
if Pomp uses BlockFi, well then number one, he needs to explain the risks of BlockFi, right? He needs to explain those risks.
Which he never did.
Like number two, the real problem I have
any real Bitcoiner would not use products like that where you have to hand your shit over. Like that's
right,
like,
exactly.
that's like crypto 101. Like that's dumb.
Well, that's what they preach the most. But I would say like the things that really bother me are number one, like when these people shill like shit coins and they literally got like a bunch of the coins for free. They tell you like it's the next biggest thing in blockchain, and then like there's literally like 1,000 examples of this on Twitter that I can show you, and then literally they're dumping on their followers. Like that is absolutely inexcusable, and it like should be criminal. That, and then like the whole trading links thing where they say like, just because they say like only do this if you're an experienced trader, they know people are just trying to like get money, and they're showing they make it look like that every trade that they do is profitable. And so it's one of those things where it's just like they're like you watch it for a little while and you're like, oh my god, if I just do this, you know, like I'll be profitable. But then they don't show you like the scam wicks and like how it flips against you and you just instantly get liquidated and stuff. And guess what? Every single time you get liquidated, they get paid. And that's why some of these guys like Carl the Moon is worth 9 figures. That guy was a freaking pleb. He was literally a pleb bagging groceries. Do you think? And the guy like is like a Bitcoin maxi for the most part. Do you think there is any possible way he made 9 figures? Yeah, Nick Merton, all those guys.
They were just little plebs. Like they were just little plebs, and because they blew up a big following, and they just monetized their following.
But that shit's so legit, dude. I used to watch Nick Merckx. That shit was so fun. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, when you're watching something.
Yeah, but okay,
but
so
like great.
He had a good way of explaining it to like people who don't. Like,
and that's fine. That's all that's fine. If he made money doing all that, that's cool. It's the liquidating your followers and having like they have no like if I was making my money off of wrecking normal people in my that are following me and like saying like, oh, I really enjoy watching you, Wendy's, like blah blah blah, you know, and then like literally they're losing their life savings or whatever because of my videos, I would not be able to look at myself in the mirror. So the fact that these guys do that is just disgusting, right?
Yeah.
So if they want to shill a service or product, if like, so for example, if like Trezor, if I had a channel and Trezor's like, hey, we'll give you, you know, like 10% with you know, WENDYS4TENDIES discount code. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I don't see anything wrong with that. But because number one, I think Trezor's cool, and I think that it's a good practice, right? And I don't see anything wrong with monetizing your channel like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the fact that like these guys literally hurt people, and then they try to like, you know, be like, oh well, I mean, you know, trading is only for professionals, like, and you know that like the amount of money that they're probably making a month, you know, is 6-7 figures. It's like, you know, that that's not all professionals. There's a lot of like guys that have $2,000 net worths and then they have 0 net worth because they got liquidated.
Do you know what the good news is? Like, I agree with you 100%. The good news is that it's becoming more popular. Like there's a lot of support for people like Zach XBT and CoffeeZilla, who have actually go to the effort of exposing scammers and And so as that becomes more popular and that's the scammers getting called out, some like these guys, these influencers and celebrities that use their fame to like wreck their followers, these dudes just go in hard on these guys and everyone rallies around it. And so I think that there'll be a shift away from how easy it is for people to get rich off that style, and hopefully it'll become a thing of the past. So those guys will be like seen as just like lucky people who were at the right time, right place, right time, and the right lack of ethics to get rich off that shit. And then after that, hopefully moving forward, we're going to be okay.
Do you have ethics before you have money? Like, because in my experience, and when I say money, just like before you have a clue, like more so like before you have a clue about like your ethos and like the way you want to live. And like, you know, like I think that happens in your mid to late 20s, if it happens at all.
Everyone different.
Right. Everyone's totally different. Like, do some people are some people, I don't even know. Like, I feel like the people that do it just don't even care. It's just like, to them, it's just so like, whatever, like I'm just shilling shit like in their personal life. It just seems like all the guys that write Hex is a scam, and then that's their thumbnail for every fucking video. It's like, obviously this dude gives no fucks because I'd murder him on sight if I saw him. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like clearly just trolling halfly, because it's just like, Hex is a scam. He gets more likes than all of us, and his content's crap. And it's just like that's the whole thing about YouTube. Like, this channel for me is like a dummy channel. Like, I will be banned so fast and so swiftly on this channel when I get past 1,000 subs. I mean, I'm gonna try to do it a little normal, but I don't care. To be honest, I like doing fitness stuff for money a little bit more. Like, it's just a little bit more rewarding because it's something I'm better at. But somebody was also.
Do you even lift, bro?
Dude, to be honest, I'm really small in real life. Like, just FYI. Like, if you saw me in real life, I would be no bigger than any one of you. There's no way.
Are you doing camera tricks or something? Like, you go.
Well, I'm just lean as fuck. Like,
yeah, it's when you get lean, you look really, really buff. Like whereas if you're like stock, you have like fat on you, you don't look.
But if you look at my arm, like,
because every time I cut. Like, if I cut for summer, that's when I start going like, damn, you know, like in the mirror, you're like, man, the definition's crazy.
When I weigh 20 pounds more, I look smaller on camera because I just look like a normal short kid. But when I have muscles, like, people just assume like I could be some fucking bigger dude because like you usually in your mind like connect like strong muscle lines with like movie characters. It's weird.
Right.
And in the bodybuilding community, they talk about that. It's like, it's almost like brainwash, but like your mind just puts two and two together, like really ripped people from movies, and it's like presence, but really,
they're light as hell. If you're,
yeah, you're right. I'm 170 pounds max.
Yeah, hey guys, I was just gonna say I didn't want to derail the conversation. I got a split. Tangent, appreciate everything. It's actually nice meeting you, man.
You too, man.
I just followed you on Twitter.
Thanks.
Tendies as well. Awesome. Great to talk to you, man. Hilarious post. I love the picture, dude. It's great. But yeah, Tangent, awesome. Really cool. Jim Rat Crypto, thanks again for having me on. I hope everything was really, there's a lot of good information. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to Wagon Dow, coming soon. Get excited. And look, I appreciate everything we're doing. Let's have some fun in the community. Let's not worry about all this drama and that's out there, whatever that infighting is. Hey, let's have fun. Let's onboard new communities. Jim Rat Crypto again, dude. Thanks for having these morning streams. This is great. This is a great thing to wake up with coffee. So appreciate it, everybody. I'm gonna drop off, and y'all have a good rest of the day.
Dude,
Later, Keith.
Keith, you're a special man. Thank you for coming by.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Yeah, Keith's really cool.
I guess I'll address that guy in the comments that asked me a question.
I just followed Keith back. His cover shot is elite.
Oh, somebody asked a good question to Wendy's. I've totally missed that one. I'll read it out. Wendy's, what do you say to people that say the people that got in early will keep dumping on us because they are generating so much yield? He kind of means like, I guess they have so much excess that he's worried. Like, Wendy's has a great answer for this. There's for creating negative externalities.
Yeah. So, okay. So as we know, there are many hex whales, right, that have way more money than they could possibly sell, right? There's guys that have $100 million plus and there's like maybe, you know, 10 to 20 million dollars in liquidity. So they could literally dump their whole bag and the price would go to zero, right? But why would you cause 99% slippage? Why would you kill your cash cow, you know, when you could just sell a little bit at a time? Like, it's like, it comes to a point, it's like, how much do you need, right? So when
But-
the interest is too much and whales want to sell out, they're going to cause the price to go down. And that's why we're in an 80% dip right now, right? Could it go to 95%? Yeah. Could it go to 98%? Yes. Yes, it absolutely could. But is that bad for you who is working in dollar cost averaging? No, that is how you make the next 200x. The people it's bad for are the people that are 100% in hex and they quote unquote retired and started flexing on Twitter and telling everybody they're retired. Those are the people that are hurting the most. So like you as a small fish, that's literally how you become you know, a squid or a dolphin, you know, is by buying those dips. That's, you know, like a point of maximum opportunity. I can just tell you, I know people that are like top 10 sharks, and most of those guys, some of them have taken profits. They drive, you know, like $150,000 car or whatever, you know, something nice like that. They got a nice place, but these guys want more T-shares. And so some of them have, you know, been at the top of the sacrifice phases, and they've told me when PulseX do numbers, they're going to rotate it into more T-shares. So it's comical. I mean, and even like Coffee put out so someone leaked my chart. I sent it to them in private, and they posted it on Twitter.
Oh.
They were like, oh, well, you couldn't post that because you're like a hex, you know, like a hexagon influencer. You can't. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to post it online because I didn't want to like freak people out. But you know, I was just playing around with like, if you measured ETH from the top versus hex, like the chart looks eerily similar, and you can even see like the PulseX pump like overlays with our PulseX pump, you know. So if you're interested in fractals, it's just an interesting chart. But you know, yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff happens in crypto. I mean, people make a lot of money and they sell out, and you know, but that is opportunity for, you know, people who are buying, who are dollar costing in, and it's like hex isn't going anywhere. I mean, Cardano dropped like 98, 99%, you know, and then did, you know, like hundreds of X the next run. And nobody got interest while they were locked up. So yes, there are people that are staked and locked in. And if we do see, you know, like crazy run-ups, they might have more money than they can actually sell. And that can cause massive sell-offs. But again, those are opportunities for everybody that, you know. So if you say, oh, like, you know, like an OG dumped on me, or, you know, whatever, because you watched your $50,000 bag turn to, like, let's just say $5,000. And like I told you, I experienced that, you know, with Ethereum. Ethereum went down 95%. Was I complaining that, oh, the Ethereum OGs that were before me like dumped their bags for Lambos on me? No, I literally got a second job and started buying the freaking dip. And that's why I am where I am today, because I did that. You know, even without Richard Hart, I still made, you know, millions of dollars because I bought the Ethereum dip. So, you know, it's just, you have to like frame it like that. Like, and some people do get it. Some people are like, oh, geez, dump on me, please. Like, dump it more. Because think about it. Like, would you rather buy at 12 cents or 2 cents?
Oh, I get it.
I could tell you where I'd rather buy.
No, I get it. Like everyone, like if you think that GRC wants the price to go up, then you are silly stupid. Because GRC wants it to be down as long as it can physically be with still being healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want the chart to be healthy, of course. And I would rather it go up than fucking break a resistance line or something, of course.
Yeah, and trust me, like I've gotten upset too when I see like a high dolphin or a shark that's like literally selling at like, so I'm like, you couldn't just wait and see if it like bounced and then, you know, like dollar costed out or set like a limit order. Like, why did you dump? But you also have to think that some of those guys may dump to buy in lower. So they might say like, okay, like this is, you know, markets do things, right? And like, maybe we do have to go down 90, 95%. Currently, we're only down 80% ish, right? Like I said, even Ethereum with a number 2 coin dropped 95%. And that was last cycle. So you go back a cycle before that, it's, you know, it's a whole nother story. Like Hex is still a pretty much brand new coin. So dropping 90+% is, I would say, would be like par for the course. So if it doesn't do that, if this is the bottom, then that's amazing. That's literally amazing. But I would say that, you know, dropping like that is normal. I think that's totally in the realm of possibility. And, you know, that's why I say, like, if it's down this much, like dollar costing in is probably a good move.
And
But,
it only
you know,
means more explosion on the upside.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Like if we were still, let's say we were like 60, 70 cents, our upside, like, so if you bought at 60, 70 cents, your upside is not anywhere close to your upside. If we dip to 2 cents, right, your upside on that, like, you could see a 200x, right?
like
You ain't
like
getting into
without even it
200x.
starting, without even it starting up, like you'd be at a 50x just when you were at your last buy.
Right,
You know,
exactly. Like,
if you
yeah,
buy the
it's,
top, it's seriously that
yeah,
crazy.
yep, 100%.
People just
So,
don't believe it. Like, I know that I've been through one whole cycle, kind of. Like, I saw it go from 2 to 54 and then back down to 10. So I kind of feel like I felt that, whatever that feeling is supposed to be. You know what I mean? And I was watching Richard Hart the whole time, right? Religiously, just when he's on live, of course, watching his stuff. And he's telling me right in my face, looking me dead in the eye and saying, it drops 80% every cycle. It's no biggie. Literally every fucking day. And
I mean,
like,
he even said in the Peter Schiff video that it could drop 95%.
and it's no biggie.
It is what it is. I mean, it sucks, you know.
It don't
It
suck
is
for
what it
you.
is, but it's like it every time, man. It happens every time.
I like it though, because it gives us a shot, right? Not you, not
It
him,
does.
whatever. Gives
Yeah,
me a
no,
shot.
it does, dude. I mean, I have a lot of cash. I will be dollar costing in massively if it if it drops any lower. Like, I'll be loading it up.
I have a
So,
buy order in on matcha.xyz. I don't know if this is doxing myself for 7.5 cents or something like that. Like, because I just
don't give the exact amount. Like,
right.
Don't give details that people can look up.
Look me up, guys. Wrench me. You'll be rich forever. You'll have riches toward the end of time if you wrench attack me.
But yeah, I do know OGs that have sold a decent amount, but I do know OGs that are also buying large amounts, 6 figures and up. So really just depends, you know, like, you can't lump everybody into the same category. But yeah, I mean, again, it's opportunity. And I mean, like, there's so many variables with this cycle. This time has really actually been different. We didn't have a blow off top in the market. We had like a rounding top. The macro economy looks kind of rough, but you got like potentially, you know, all the stuff with Ukraine and everything going on. Inflation's extremely high. It's anybody's guess, and that's why dollar cost averaging is usually smart, especially on a pullback like this. You also have Pulse Chain that's, you know, potentially going to launch in the next 6 months, and, you know, so some people may be selling to have cash to buy Pulse Chain when it launches. Maybe they missed out on the sacrifice phase, or, you know, who knows what's going to happen, and who knows what's going to happen after the fork happens and people get double the amount of hex. You know, who knows if you see a Ethereum hex sell off. Like, I don't know. It's going to be a very volatile and interesting time. You know, what I can say is that if you haven't currently made it, right, so you're still working, you're still, like, you're not living off crypto, then it's pure opportunity, and you guys don't have to stress about it. When you start living off crypto, you have to. That's when you start stressing about stuff, because you're like, oh, I went from making like excess money to like barely scraping by and budgeting. You know, like, there's plenty of people I know on Twitter that like said, I'm retired, and I guarantee those people are not retired now. They're probably like looking for jobs like as we speak. So
the McDonald's meme.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Like,
and I told like close friends, they were considering like retiring, and I was like, dude, you ain't there yet. I'm telling you, you're not there. You know, I know you want this, and like, especially if you have friends that are like, that have made it, right? You just want to be that. You want that lifestyle. And I was like, bro, this is your first cycle. I didn't retire my first cycle. So I don't know what makes you think that you deserve to retire your first cycle, but it ain't happening, you know? And then like we have this drop, and I'm like, hey bro, like, what's up? Like, are you know, you still feeling rich? And he's like, oh, thank God I have my job. I was like, yeah, thank God you have your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, guys, I obviously don't have my old job, but the circumstances for that were a little bit different. Therefore, I was working too much, and I was literally running out of gas. And I do make money on doing other things. I just don't necessarily want to publicize it because I don't know how super legit everything is yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet as far as making money. I don't really know how to do it. I know how to make physical money, but I don't know how to make a business or run a business really. Like I understand and I worked for a while, but it was just like a grassroots business that I just did everything. You know what I mean? It was so different. Like I just did all this shit. So I don't know. All I'm saying is, guys, I'm working 14 hours a day, contacting people constantly, making business deals with people as far as fitness shit, like trying to make affiliate links for my favorite pre-workout in the whole entire world that I've taken every day for 5 years.
What is your favorite? I'll tell you.
Gorilla
Mine.
Mind Rush from Derek. More plates, more dates. It's the best for pump, and they have a pump formula that
It's got the like nitric oxide or whatever.
but it has no caffeine. So us that work out at night, you can get a sick, nasty pump, no caffeine. So you're just like sick, dude. Like if you're
Very
like me,
nice.
you don't want to be up all night. And oh my God. And if you go midday and you eat like a good amount of grub, you take a scoop of both, you look like another human after your workout. You look like you're just bloated up like a fucking bodybuilder, just for 20 minutes to an hour afterwards. But it's really nice when you're in the gym having that fucking nasty pump because you're just looking in the mirror and you're just like,
I love
What's it called?
RSP Nutrition's Amino Lean. Have you ever had that?
I'll look it up. No, I've been trying to get an affiliate link from Derek More Plates, More Dates for 3 years. So I've been pretty much sticking to his brand. And I'm gonna get him an interview with fucking him and RH. Like I'm trying so hard because he has 1 million subs, totally grassroots. Totally grassroots. Like I was watching him just like Pomp. Like back in the day, I was in his forums when he had 10K subs, asking him questions about bodybuilding, just loving it, like just my favorite shit ever. And then he got super successful. That dude owns like 50 TRT clinics around the country. The dude's like Gorilla Mind Rush, the most legit brand. His videos are a little clickbaity now, but for years, and he doesn't monetize his shit. He doesn't like shill shit that he did not create. He created everything he shills.
What is it called?
Gorilla Mind.
Does he sell other supplements too?
Everything nootropic.
Does he sell like L-citrulline kind of like?
Yes, everything like that.
I think I've bought from him. Actually.
He's the most legit site you probably have. Like I'm telling you, guys.
The bottles is like a gorilla on the front, like looks like it's like roaring kind of thing.
Watch. Yep. I'll pull it up.
Okay, I think I have actually had.
Yeah. I just saw the logo and that you described it perfectly. Yeah.
And this is going to be GRC soon, guys. This is going to be GRC right here.
I've literally used that guy's stuff.
GRC will be right here. You remember this word I say instead of this guy who's a pro bodybuilder. Not on this page. Like obviously this is the front page, and I would not think. But I am talking to these guys, and I've already done the affiliate paperwork. They're talking to me. They say I want to watch your channel grow. They're literally saying shit like that to me. Not him directly, but his affiliates, like his major affiliates are talking to me. Just other bodybuilding dudes that I've also followed. So if I can get him, but he also has been curious about Bitcoin lately and like talking about it. And I know he's rich as fuck. I know I've used his shit. I know how much sales he's doing. It's ridiculous. Nice. So I'm just saying, like, this is a little side project for me as far as my Hex journey. Like I want to introduce this guy in particular to all this stuff.
Now's the time to start, onboarding people. I mean, if we're not at the bottom, we'll be at one within 8 months. So I mean, it's literally like the best time to start getting people in. In fact, I had people reaching out to me on like my private socials and stuff like that, like months ago, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, I want to buy," and I was like, "Okay, I will. I'll set up a time with you," and then I just ghosted them for a while, and I'm like, I'm literally just waiting for like prices to go down because it's like getting people in with the prices up that high. It's just nobody wants to like wake up to like 10 text messages from all these people that you onboarded and they're all underwater, and you want to get them in at a good time. So
tell that guy we'll do him a deal, right? Well, like when I say we, the crypto community in general, his brand is like gorilla shit, right? That ties in perfectly. We've already got that. That's a meme already in the crypto space. We take his shit, we make his brand the ape brand, and then he has to pump our bags.
Oh, dude, he can pump bags with a 2-second Snapchat video. Like if he did a 2-second Snapchat video on Hex, it would be like 700,000 views within minutes. Like
with his Snapchat and with his dollars, he needs to really pump the gas. and then we'll make his brand the official supplement brand of crypto.
Yeah, I cannot wait to be doing, because I'm gonna
Gorillas and apes are the same shit, right? Like that's the same shit. Close enough.
Yes.
Close enough.
I cannot wait to start vlogging and to show my real value. Like this is the only reason I have a lot of value on this channel is because I'm really good at bringing people together, right? Like I'm really good at bringing people together. I'm open-minded. I know people are rich, people are poor, people have been broke. I know everyone's been hurt. You know, like I understand that we're all here. Like at the end of the day, we all have time ticking, right? Like we're all going to die one day. All I want to do is try my fucking best. And like when I die, just be like, Scott, you fucking tried. Like whatever happened, you did not sell out and you tried. Like literally, I just want to be able to say that to myself, because when I was young, I never had integrity like that. I just did whatever. Like I just didn't know. I just was crazy. And now I'm like, I know what good people look like. I want to be like those people. And I pick who those people are for me, you know, like whoever they be.
I love the format of your show, man. Like I'm all in on. I love it. I reckon it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it can really help a lot of people because, like Wendy's always says, everyone lies, right? Everyone lies. Not everyone. The people generally will lie about where they're at, where their face isn't exposed, and nobody knows them, you know, online and shit. And I didn't really know that, like coming in. Like people were like, "Oh, this is my bags. This is my bags." I was like, "Fuck yeah, these guys are." And then you realize it's like 2 guys or 5 guys or 10 guys that are being kind of honest, more so honest. Everyone else has just been bold-faced lying for the last decade.
You know what people need to do? They need to get on the Jordan Peterson train where you convince yourself deeply that when you lie to another human, you damage yourself drastically more than any gain you could possibly get out of that situation that you're lying about. And once you subscribe to that, you really do not want to lie. And he says that his entire experience as a clinical psychologist supports that theory. So it's not just like, hey, believe in this theory because it's like sunshine and rainbows and we've got Vitalik wearing a unicorn t-shirt, so believe this shit. It's like in his experience, that is actually true.
Yeah, and in my experience, it is too. Like the weight, I held weight from lying for so long, more so about like criminal stuff. Like I felt like I wasn't telling anyone what was going on because I was doing illegal things. They weren't like malicious necessarily.
Yeah, this is like a deep-seated, subconscious psychological impact.
But now I'm free. No, I'm a free man today. I'm telling you, like I am fucking free. Like there's not a human, my brother, anyone could walk into my front door and call me out for anything. I would say, I've already admitted that 10 times. Get out of here and suck my dick. Yeah,
that that saying, it's cliche, but it's the truth will set you free. People don't realize that is like that saying is what he is saying, what Jordan Peterson is saying. That freedom that you're feeling comes from honesty and transparency, legit.
Yeah, and like you can really tell when it comes to relationships too, right? I used to lie in relationships a lot and just be like that, and I was always sketched out, feeling shame. I always felt shame, like. I was always kind of being like promiscuous, doing shit, being a little sketchy, being a little egotistical. But deep down, I felt all this like, oh, you're not a good person, really. Like people are being hurt. Like, you know, you feel all that deep down shit. And now it's like people are like, oh, you're going to cheat, do this. I'm like, I don't have the emotional energy to cheat. I don't even have the emotional capacity to keep up with what I'm doing, whether it be a lot or a little to some, with somebody like down. Thinking or like lying or like ass backwards shit that I'm doing constantly. It's like I'd rather not have sex. I don't give a fuck.
And often the reason that people are lying, they might actually find that it's unnecessary. Like that. So because some people in relationships, they'll lie because they'll think that the truth would upset their partner or like whatever the reason is. Yeah. Typically, like. Often you can be honest about something and it can actually be a very positive experience. Like an example would be like, say you told your girlfriend like, hey, I'm like getting pretty keen to bang some strange, like, or something like that. Obviously you'd be a little bit more diplomatic with the wording. She might be like, actually, I'm kind of a little bit into girls as well. Let's have a 3-way. Like as in that is not an uncommon thing that I myself have experienced, and other friends of mine as well, because a lot of girls can be into that sort of thing, or want to experiment with that kind of thing. Whereas other people will choose to just go and cheat, and then, like you said, carry the guilt, get caught, ruin the whole relationship
all day.
Yeah, because you don't have, you
or
literally
just,
have no
just
trust.
jerking it.
People do that, dude. I'd say most people don't have sex with a lot of chicks, in my experience. Like, it just is what it is. Anyone can say whatever they want. In my experience, most people are way too nervous to be fucking. Like, it's some.
And the other side of it is, if your partner says, no, I'm not okay with that, like my boundaries are here and that's over the line, then you can just say, okay, that's fine, we won't do it. Like, as in, you know what I mean? Like, I think if it's approached with honesty and diplomacy, it is like, an ex of mine who we explored some of this stuff, she said to me, if you are honest with someone, they can be upset, but they can never be upset at you. And I believe that. Like, as in, I think that's a good way to think about it, you know?
Totally.
Like, they can be upset by what you've said, or they can be upset by what you're thinking or whatever like that, but they can't get upset at the fact that you were honest about it. But people can only ever respect that. Danny
Boy's going hot. I'm currently a sad story when it comes to this. Go on, bro. Hey, GRC's got your back. Come on, let's go. No, I just got out of like a relationship kind of like 2 days ago. So, but again, guys, I just want to remind everyone, like, when you just honest, like I was honest about the type of guy I was. Maybe she didn't want me to be the type of guy I was, but like, I was just like, this is the type of guy I am. So like, what can I do really other than do it? I can't function unless I'm doing exactly what I want to. I can't. I can almost not function. My ADD is so off the Richter scale that it's just like, if I am not totally passionate about what I'm doing, it actually hurts me inside constantly to do it. Like, when I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing, I feel dread like no other. And maybe other people feel the same way, and I'm just a pussy. but like you never know. Like, I'm just saying, for me, like, I have all this potential energy. I know I have a lot of. I'm not like one of those guys who's like, yeah, I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to work. I'm like, I'm going to be working every single moment for the next 50 years. And I know that for certain. Like,
I've already worked out that Richard's a harder worker than me. Like, as in, I always believed that I was a hardworking, like, driven, successful person. But I've realized now that I already do less than Richard Hart, and I don't have as much money as him. So he's definitely taken that crown.
Guys, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming on my show. The insight that you guys have is extremely valuable. It's more valuable than any fucking shill or any fucking bull ass that's on here, guys. This is real information you can carry with yourselves for the rest of your lives. These two were having open conversations about concepts they weren't 100% locked in on. Think about how valuable that is when two people go through crypto for so long and they're still having conversations on nuanced points that they're not necessarily 100% sure about. That's deep shit, man. Guys. This is crazy stuff. These guys are on the cutting edge, guys. We're all so early, disgustingly early.
You know what? Respect to Tendies. He's actually done a better job than Richard Hart in convincing me away from Bitcoin on this stream. Now, I might add that because we're able to have a dialogue here, it's possible that if Richard and I were having a dialogue about it, because there'd be some back and forth and he'd be able to address things that I raised on the fly, that he might be able to do an even better job. Because with Richard and I, it's been a one-way thing, right? I listen to what he says and then I think to myself, oh no, that's not 100% accurate or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not a fair comparison,
right?
But
right.
it's still true that you today here on this stream have done a better job of convincing me away from Bitcoin than anything that Richard has ever said.
I appreciate that. I mean, I've had other people tell me that I explain things better than Richard. The thing is like Richard is a very smart. He's way smarter than me. But sometimes when you're that far removed from the common person, you don't think like they think. So I try to break things down a little bit easier on how, other people think about things, and then just, how I approach it. And, it's been a process, right? Like it's this is a journey. Crypto is a marathon, not a sprint. I say that all the time. So we're all just constantly learning and, taking things that we learn and, adapting them as we go on. And so it's just, revelations I've had over the years with crypto. And it's like, man, I still like Bitcoin, I don't hold any anymore, but,
Like
I want to see them.
Zero.
I hold zero now. I mean, I had a lot at one point, but I still had like double digits in this bull market, but I got rid of them all. And maybe if, we approach like, the $10,000-$20,000 range, I'll buy some for sentimental value, which is hilarious. Like it's like not even about the money; it's just the sentimental value. But
don't you think you should just hold like one, like just hold one, just like
opportunity cost, bro? Opportunity cost
for the lol.
It's like,
or like,
I mean,
for the loss.
Let's just say this: like, I am okay. So, like I said, I had double-digit Bitcoins going into this bull market. I can tell you that if I had allocated all of my Ethereum and Bitcoin into Hex, and I was in Hex day one, if I had allocated, not even necessarily at the bottom, I would be the number one holder of Hex. Okay, so I've seen that performance.
But that's with hindsight, right? Like, as in, at the time, there would have been reasons
100%.
why you didn't do that. Like,
Xander thinks 12.5.
But what I'm saying is that like I've seen the price performance on portfolio wise of like what Hex did, what Ethereum did, and what Bitcoin did, and then just what other coins I had did, and it's nothing.
Yeah. I've always said that I agree with Richard 100%. New projects, less overhead resistance, less bag holders. You've just got better chance for price appreciation in younger projects. It's just that economic inertia is just so hard to overcome with Bitcoin. People talking about, like, I agree that when people say that even if Bitcoin went right now to 100 grand, it's like a fucking 2x, which is nothing in crypto.
But this is the benefit of Bitcoin, right? The benefit of Bitcoin is the liquidity, but like Ethereum is I believe Ethereum is going to eventually flip. So if you're a small to medium player, then you don't want to diversify, and you want to be like concentrated in something that has, from a risk reward ratio, has extremely high upside and low downside. So like that would be like coming up Pulse Chain, PulseX, even Hex, but like especially Pulse Chain and PulseX are going to have that asymmetric return that you're looking for. Now, when you get to the 9 and like 10 figures, then the liquidity doesn't exist in Hex and other cryptos. So if you don't want to go to cash, right? So you want something else with upside. So then it would be like, you get to 9 figures, you're worth $100+ million. You start like essentially dollar costing into like Ethereum, right? Because then you can catch a 10x on Ethereum over the medium to long term. And then when you're a billionaire at that point, then you're dollar costing out of Ethereum, which has high liquidity. So you can essentially get more of your capital out. And then you can go into things like real estate, stocks that have the lowest return, but you're a billionaire at that point. It's like, it doesn't matter.
That is very smart. Like, in terms of ETH being something that will have the exit liquidity for you in virtually any scale, but also reasonably significant price performance coming up, and like the blue chip status or whatever, that it's like unlikely to just do a freaking Squid Games and just suddenly not exist anymore. Like, there's virtually zero chance of that.
Right.
So in terms of the risk profile, man, that's actually an incredible sales pitch. Like, for that strategy that you just outlined.
Yeah, so there's us, right? We're starting off like the pleb status, right? We're starting off with essentially nothing, and we're going to billionaire. There's people on the other end of the spectrum that are billionaires, and they already have the stocks, they already have the real estate, but they need the asymmetric return of crypto. So they're essentially the exit liquidity for us. And it's kind of like a two-pronged thing. Like, they're coming into crypto to get the asymmetric return from versus like stocks 10% a year. Bitcoin 200% a year, even still, right? So it's like they're getting the benefit of the return. They're providing the exit liquidity for us to go into stocks, and so we're going to say like, okay, we've been getting 200% a year or more, you know, like the lower down the spectrum you are, but at some point you're like, okay, I need to like diversify, because at some point, like once you're so rich, you just want to stay rich, right? So you know, and we'll still have crypto, right? So we understand crypto because that's where we came from, just like they understand stocks. Like, so we'll still be getting those asymmetric returns, but it's like as a general portfolio plan, that's, you know, kind of what you want to do. So, you know, going very, very concentrated into things. So like if you think about like the hex whales that they went all in, right? Like they had, you know, a couple hundred Ethereum, you know, maybe they had like 500 Ethereum. They weren't like huge, you know, in the Ethereum ecospace, but they were like decent. Those guys that went hardcore into hex, $100 million plus now, right?
Yeah.
So those guys are they have so much, they can't even pull it all out. So it makes sense that if you watch some of them, what they're doing is they're going into Ethereum, they're going into the other things, because that will still provide upside, but they can never get out the entire amount, right? Because if they're worth $100 million now, when Hex goes to $100, how much are they worth? They can never get that money out. So you kind of have to dollar cost out. And that's why, like the guy was saying before, is like, okay, if we have to nuke down, if these guys want to get their liquidity out and they're going to hurt the price, they're going to push the bags against themselves, that's opportunity for you to become that whale. You go and concentrate it at, you know, we get a 98% dip. If you say, oh, I got 100 grand, I'm going in 98%, like I think you're going to do pretty well, you know, like that's an opportunity. So you just gotta look for those asymmetric returns, and you know, you really do have to have like an overall plan. Like, you know, I talk with this a lot with guys that are so rich, like way richer than me, and they're like, yo, let me do a call with you. Like I gotta figure out like what, you know, like what a game plan is. And it's like a lot of these guys don't even have plans, you know.
Yeah. Because everyone's so focused on making money, like it's like they don't think about what they're going to do once they've made it, and that comes from in terms of that's why people get screwed up by like the tax implications, the like docs implications, all that stuff that comes from it. You're not security. They're not thinking about of that sort of shit. It's just all they're focused on is getting rich. And maintenance, like you mentioned, maintaining the wealth, all of those things, inheritance planning. There's like a whole list of things that are important, that because everyone's just focused so much on just getting there, like they're not thinking about the implications that
and I've talked about it before. It's like, you know, when you start getting to, you know, the you know, at least close to $1 million, you at least want to start like thinking about where you picture your life and what is your ideal life. If you had unlimited money, if you had, you know, whatever, what is the life that you envision for yourself? At what point are you happy that you say like, okay, I'm going to diversify? Because at some point, like you do get greedy, right? So maybe that number for you is 4 million, and you say 4 million, I can move to this, get this little plot of land in Colorado, put a tiny house, and I could still have a ton of money in crypto, and you know, yada yada. But like 4 million comes, and you just say fuck 4 million, right? Like I want 40 million, and so you end up like riding a cycle down. So you have
just
to
another
like
10x, just
another
10x.
10x. Yep, and it happens, and I mean it happens to everybody. So I mean, you really have to have those conversations with yourself, and like you're gonna probably get wrecked at least 1 or 2 cycles, you know, in crypto. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But you know, you just have to learn things each time, and you know, come out of it better, more knowledgeable. You know, fighting the emotions, because it is hard. It is hard to fight your emotions, even with me. And a lot of times, like I'll tell people, you know, I can do crazy things with other people's portfolios, and then with my own portfolio, I take losses I shouldn't, you know. So it's hard sometimes to fight that when you're really close. So
yeah, guys, I mean, incredible stuff. All I ask is you guys don't go on one of each other's channels and talk without me, because that would be devastating to mine. No, I'm just kidding. You guys were
I've got so much value out of chats specifically on your channel, man.
No, I appreciate that. That's what I bring. That's what I'm trying to bring. I say the same thing every time when I show my shit. I said I'm bringing the realest people in crypto, asking the hardest questions and getting the best answers. That's what we're doing here. I'm not asking questions about fucking who is gonna be fucking doing this for fucking event or that event. I just want to know what the fuck's going on. Okay.
Did you watch that video I did last night with on the liquidity farming?
No, but I have it tagged up.
Yeah, if you're in the chat and you want
I'll
to
tag
hear
it.
about like liquidity farming and stuff, I kind of did like a little bit of a deep dive explaining it in layman's terms for people that haven't done those kind of positions and all that. I think it was pretty good. We went pretty in depth, so something to listen to. You could always listen to it on. Probably, I don't know. I talk kind of fast, so you might not be able to listen to me on 2x, but
You can actually turn it down too for some of us as educated folk. We sometimes go to 0.75. See, some other people go up. Jim Rat goes down to 0.75 because
I always go.
oh,
up.
sorry, that was on HEXTANGENT Vision.
no, I got
channel.
it posted.
Oh, okay, cool.
Guys, at the link below, I don't know if you have to like scan it or whatever, if it lets you click it through the YouTube, but that's the link. He was on a video with, hold on one second. He was on a video with Mr. Hexray Vision. It's at Hexray Vision's channel, and it looks like he was on with Rags to Riches and what's the guy with the big beard's name?
David Feeder.
Yeah, David Fetter. He's also cool as fuck. I haven't met Hexray Vision yet. Is he cool?
Yeah, apparently I met him in Vegas and I didn't even realize. He's like, hey, bro. He's like, I turned my camera on and he's like, oh yeah, I met you. I was like, oh yeah. I met a lot of people.
I love that. I love that interaction. Like you're just like, sick. You're not rememberable. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of hexagons out there, so it's kind of hard sometimes.
Well, when anyone has hex in their name, you can basically count me remembering who the fuck they are out, because everyone's name has hex in it, and I'm like, Hex, Hexcellence, Hexcelsior, Hex this, and I don't know what they look like, so it's just like a little fucking hex emblem for everyone, the same fucking thing. And then they're like asking me a question, like a personal question, and I'm like, damn, I couldn't even get deep because I really don't know who the fuck you are. But then I always ask them like what decade were you born in, and are you like something about them so I can like identify them. But anyway, guys, we could go all day long. I'm going to be here every single day, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. We're coming at you live. We're bringing the best questions, guys. I'm going to go to the gym. I asked my buddy for his 150, and he threw me the keys. Guys, I got a whip.
Sweet.
Says, been fun. See ya.
Likewise.